back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bass University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break. Watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show. Get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
It's Bass You Go. You know, we didn't have that back then. And dude, it can just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bass University Live. What a cool show we have tonight. We're continuing down this road, which is an awesome road to go down. We're talking about big swim baits again on tonight's show. And we've got a really great guest tonight who knows a lot about swim baits. We're going to have Brandon Palaniuk come on, and he's going to be visiting with us. We're taking on this topic. Check this out. It's going to be about when to pick up the big swim bait. And honestly, for me, it's as important as when to put it down. When you're a tournament guy, right? We've talked about trophy hunting. We've talked about how to, keep it in your hand to catch the big ones. But we're going to be talking about it tonight from a tournament strategy. And I'm so excited that again I think he might take up residence in New Jersey. I'm not sure. We're going to have to see about it. But he's been with us now for a week and a half, and it's good to have him back. He's in the studio holding down the fort. We have Oliver Nye back in studio with us, man. Appreciate you hanging out again.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. Big honor to sit here, hanging out with the dean of Bass University. That probably makes me like the hall monitor. Let's do this.
I don't know. You're a pretty good teacher. We were out on the water today. It was cold. My feet are finally warmed up. It's I don't know about you, but I'm just starting to feel my fingertips again.
Yeah, that was probably the first time. No, it was definitely the first time I've actually cast the swim bait and it bounced off the water instead of penetrated the water.
You got hung up on the ice a few times.
Yeah, and actually I had to think about it. I was like, hold on, I better be careful here because maybe the ice is sharp and it's going to cut my line. I'm going to lose my bait. So
I know
lots of interesting new experiences today.
That was funny. The bait penetrated, got hung up on the ice, and I'm like, man, that's like a $60 plug. What's he gonna do? He's gonna break that off? What do we do?
Can't fish scared.
You didn't, and it was awesome. Guys, look forward to that. We were on the water with Oliver talking about big swim bait, soft plastic style swim baits. So much interesting stuff, and we'll get into it. The difference between boot tails and side by sides on soft plastic swim baits. I didn't know there was a different category. So that's all coming to Bass University TV. So look for that. And it was amazing. I was firsthand view. So I got to tell you, there was some stuff that blew my hair back, and I think it'll help you in your quest to catch a giant or just catch a big one in a tournament. So appreciate you hanging out with us, Oliver, and we're going to be talking swim baits more later on tonight. We got a great cast. I see JK's in the house. Good to have you with us, buddy.
Great to be here, man. As you know, we're hard at work planning the next week of what we're going to be busy with. Lots going on at Bass U TV. I'm excited about it, but it's nice to have a little break and talk about big swim baits colliding with tournaments. I am yet again have about 20 questions planned, so we refrain.
Yeah, get them ready. We have the answer man in house tonight. Bring your questions, guys. Over there at the Bass University group. I know we were fishing around the ice today, and you're going to be down in sunny Florida next week. I really don't think this is fair.
Still time for you to join us, Pete. There's like 2 extra bedrooms, so come on, man.
I'd love it. We've got a great cast down there with JT Kenny, John Cox, and Bobby Lane going to be going to be working on the water, and our first ever virtual, and we're going to talk about this a little bit tonight, our first ever virtual Bass University classroom session. You know, due to what's going on in the world today, we've found a way to deliver our what we do to you guys. So I'm excited to announce it tonight and just give you a little tease, but we'll tell you a little bit more about that. And our first one's going to be coming up just next Saturday. So stay tuned for that. And of course, I got BTC and the Riz, man. You guys hooked us up with some juice on the lake we were filming at today, but the ice, amongst other things, prevented us from ever making a cast there.
A real cast, anyway.
Yeah, well,
I heard that this time of year, the punch and bite, to punch down through the ice, you get the big weight out, really, you know, maybe 3-4.5 ounces, get down through that ice. It can really be effective. But I'm glad you guys were able to get out and get some filming on some big bait content. That's awesome stuff. I'm excited for the Bass U TV family to be able to indulge in all that.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited to see it all come together, because it actually benefits me as a mental exercise to kind of revisit concepts and ideas I've had, because having the Dean sitting in front of me, it really forces me to get those wheels turning again. And I get to revisit things that I may take for granted, just going after the grind and chasing these big fish. And I just kind of find myself going through the motions at times. So it was nice to actually take a seat, take a step back, and really deep dive into some of this mind-numbing craziness that is big bait fishing. So thanks.
It was great to have a front row seat, I got to be honest. And you know, I think the guys are going to be excited. Wait till you see some of the underwater photography of some of these glide baits and different swim baits coming through. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's going to be real cool. How big was that big bait? You talked about ounces. I think it was that 2 or 3 ounces.
The biggest one we messed with for Bass U today was 9 3/4 inches long and 6 ounces in weight.
And it couldn't punch through the ice.
At one point, no.
It was bouncing off. The ice was just forming. But
we've actually got some pretty rad slow motion footage of this thing hitting the ice and coming to a gangster slide. It was great.
Really good on the ice.
Yep. I sent you a video of it, Riz. So we'll post a little preliminary shot up on social. But BTC, thanks again for your help, and always, man, you're making it happen. You brought Oliver to us. You got Brandon Palaniuk coming on the show tonight. Oh yeah, you're busy, man.
That's what I do, bro. And I framed an edition today.
That's all. Did you GoPro it?
Hell no.
We saw you dancing on the rooftop, bro.
Yeah. Playing with my shadows.
Come on, man. We need to see some carpentry videos up on your social.
I don't want to see that. I'm over that.
People would be impressed at the work you're doing out there. Woo. Well, we're impressed, and we're glad to have you guys with us tonight. There's so much going on. Like I said, we've got our first ever Bass University class virtual style coming up next Saturday. We're going to be telling you more about that. Right now, if you've not subscribed to Bass University, it's New Year, New You. 60 days free trial. We've had so many people join the program that we've extended it. It's going to be next Wednesday that we're going to extend it till next Wednesday. And I think that's the 20th. And, you know, so sign up if you want to be part of tonight's program. You want to win prizes. We give away prizes to all of our subscribers at Bass U TV. So take a minute. We're going to be taking a commercial break soon, and you can get over and get yourself subscribed, and you can participate, ask questions to the panel, and win some prizes. But mainly, you know, take advantage of all the lessons that we have at Bass University TV and all the great opportunities to buy products at a discount that we have over there. So there's so much over there, but so many new people. Oh my gosh, I've been on the forum the last couple of days, and we've got so many new people joining the program. It's great to have you guys, and you know, appreciate you being part of the program. So we've got a lot of great stuff going on tonight. I know we're doing all kinds of contests, Riz. So what are we giving away? What do we got going on tonight?
Yeah, that's right. As always, we're going to be taking questions from the message board, as well as I'm going to put the Zoom link out here pretty soon onto the message board. We'll have some subscribers on the show with us tonight to talk to us and Oliver Nye and Brandon Palaniuk. So that's all the more reason, guys. Like, if you want to be on the show, we are going to Zoom you in tonight. Head over to bashu.tv, get signed up, take advantage of 60 days for free, and you can join the show with us tonight and talk to Oliver and Brandon Palaniuk. We have a Facebook like and share going on tonight as well. The winner of the Facebook like and share, now this is a big one, is going to get a Defiant 210 swim bait that Oliver helped design, right? So if you're over on Facebook and you insist on not coming over to Bashu TV, first of all, you got to get your head checked because you're not joining Bashu TV because it's the best. But we're still going to hook you up. Like and share tonight's feed, and you're going to be entered in for a chance to win a Defiant 210. And then our grand prize that we're going to go to later in the show is a prize pack that's absolutely loaded. It's over $100 worth of product from Flambeau, from TH Marine, from Rapala, from Humminbird, from RTD rod threading devices. It's loaded. So, guys, all the more reason, join up bashu.tv tonight. Be a part of tonight's show. Zoom in with us and have some fun with us on the message board.
Excellent. Guys, if you're wanting to dive into the world of swim baits, if you're confused by it, want to build some confidence in it, want to figure out when to pick it up, most importantly, when to put it down when you're competing. And it's such a tricky bait, but we've got Brandon Palaniuk. He's going to be with us here in just a little while, and he's one big doing it. And I'm really, honestly, I'm interested to see the interaction between Oliver Nye, the trophy hunter, and Brandon Palaniuk, the tournament master, and to hear some of these ideas and learn from these guys that spend so much time with the big baits. So you're going to do that too. We're going to be right back after this quick commercial break with Brandon Palaniuk and Bass University Live. Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out doing a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
One thing that's happened that's probably advanced our electronics more so this year than anything that has in a while, C-Clear Power wiring harness. These units are designed to do a certain thing. If you're not getting enough power, enough wattage, enough voltage, they're not going to perform the way they're supposed to perform. C-Clear Power wiring harness fixes that problem. One of the great things about the C-Clear Power harness is it doesn't matter what brand of unit you have, it doesn't matter what kind of boat you got. The thing that you want from the C-Clear harness is power. C-Clear Power puts enough voltage to your units to make them maintain the performance that they're supposed to maintain. So if you're not seeing everything like you think you should see it, C-Clear Power will show it to you.
Facebook.
What?
The Facebook.
What did you say, Peter?
On the Facebook.
You're live.
Are we live? We're back.
Yes. Hey, I was just thinking, Pete, you know, we're pretty much, you guys are like just giving Bass U away, right? 60 days free. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know why anybody wouldn't sign up for free. But, dude, on the way down here tonight, I bought a pickle. A pickle was $2, dude. When did that happen?
We just did one of those. You reach in the barrel, kind of grab a pickle.
I wish, man. No, it was pre-bagged from Heritage from the.
Okay.
It was $2.
$2.
Yeah,
and we deliver more than a pickle.
You said it, Pete.
That's good.
Well, I don't know. We are giving it away for free, guys. We just want to get people part of the program because we think once they give it a try, it's going to help their fishing and they're going to be with us for a long time.
Let me interject, and I really wish you guys were able to do this when I was coming up and having to learn through public library resources, which are very limited, mind you.
Right.
My gosh, how much time you guys potentially could have saved me and how much money from wasting my money on things that just didn't ever end up working. You guys are doing a great thing for the community and the culture, man. So kudos to you guys. And yeah, I really do wish I had some of these resources at my disposal because it would have saved me a lot of heartache and a lot of time and a lot of money.
Man, I appreciate that. And you know what is awesome? We get guys that are fishing on the elite level. You can't imagine how many are part of our program, subscribers, and watch the content to help their game. Because, you know, if you're gonna compete, you know, our motto is never stop learning. But it's true. I mean, no matter what level you're at, you got to stay at it and pick up the next thing. So we get a lot of top level guys consuming our product.
Yeah, I saw Gray Buck was posted on Instagram that he was, I don't know, working
doing
in his
tackle.
garage. Yeah,
rigging tackle, organizing for the year, watching some Bass U TV. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
Yep, and he's been on our live show. Gray, you know, big winner on Lake Oneida, Gray Buck. And by the way, Gray, I'm going to be texting you or emailing you requesting some waypoints and some assistance for Lake Oneida. And, I'm looking for all the help I can get to try to catch a fish there this year.
Jesus.
I just saw a comment come through on the instant message board. Patrick Loudon. I canceled my cable when I subscribed to Bass U.
Seriously.
Hey, I'm giving away a gift card, $25 Gills gift card right there to Patrick Loudon.
I don't know where Patrick Loudon is, and he's going to get a Gills gift card, by the way. Patrick, I need your email in the message board because that's how we get you that gift card. But that's like the number one thing I tell people at the Classic or wherever when we're pushing the product is that if you just replace your 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour of TV time that you spend every night after dinner, and you just sub that with some Bass U TV, think about how much that's going to help your fishing. You know, every time you watch a segment, you get just one little nugget that you refer back to when you're out on the water. It's amazing. It's amazing how far that'll go. Help you catch that one more fish, that last bite, whatever you need. It's the deal, man.
You might catch more than 2 bass in over a week of fishing in New Jersey if you did. I should have been paying attention.
Timing is
that's fun. That was tough, man. Oliver came out here. For you guys that don't know, he's been with Ike. He's been with BTC. It's January. The ice is forming on the lakes, but it's not quite covering up the lakes, and it's been tough. 30-degree water temps, and it's been a grind out there this week for you.
Yes, it has. Pete, let me just give you an update. And I was afraid of this. Brandon is I don't know. They got some bad weather where he's at, and he's out there in Idaho, so he's relying on satellite. And I saw him pop in the Zoom for a second, and then he disappeared. So
I've been to his house. He lives in the boonies.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, Rich, why don't you throw that Zoom link up in the chat board?
All right.
Because
I want to invite everybody. We have so many great partners, but TH Marine's one of them, and the Atlas Awards program is something that if you guys are going to fish tournaments this year, the incentive programs from TH Marine are outstanding, and you can go over to the TH Marine website, sign up for the Atlas Awards program, get some extra bucks when you win, when you get in the winner circle. So go check that out. No matter whether you run in the jack plate or you're using G-Juice and their call system, there's some award programs out there for you. So definitely check that out. And we're all looking good in the Gills gear. I appreciate Gills. I know we're giving away some Gills gear coupons tonight, $25 off coupons. Somebody's going to get some of that tonight. And you know what? This is really important. Sea Clear Power. We spent a lot of time with our sonar today, And Sea Clear Power makes a wiring harness dedicated just for your sonar units to increase speed, minimize any kind of interference, and there's no voltage drop from batteries to the units. It's an amazing harness with such high tech sonar products that we have out there today. I've got the Humminbird Solixes on my boat. Today we were in Oliver's boat with 5 Garmin units on his rig. I counted. I counted. It was hard. The Vexus had room up front. I couldn't believe it. With all those units, I still had a stepping spot to get in and out of the boat. But it was my first time in a Vexus today as well. It was a pretty tight boat.
Yeah, I don't even own a TV, let alone a 60-inch TV, but I got 60 inches of screen on the Dream Machine, baby.
That's what's up, dude. That's awesome. You don't own a TV?
I mean, that's part of it, right? I can't
it.
afford to buy this if I'm going to buy these, and
that's it. Choices.
Give and take.
Choices.
Heck yeah. Cut the cable, baby. Sign up for Bass U.
Yep. I gotta look. I gotta look at the new wrap from VFX. Mike Pilot over there did an amazing wrap, and I have pictures and images of it, and but I am sworn to secrecy until next week.
Ooh.
So we're making an announcement of an announcement, but we're going to be posting those pics for you. And it's really cool look. It's unlike any other boat that I've seen. Very, very cool. So nice job, Mike and Oliver. Good job with the design. Very, very well done.
So can we talk about them graphs a little bit?
Sure.
5?
Absolutely. 5.
5.
Right. And mind you, I grew up without any graphs, let alone a boat or any of that.
Oh, yeah.
So these 5 graphs represent a dream scenario and a dream set of tools to do a lot of the same things that I was having to do within the confines of my own brain and mind. One's dedicated to topographical map information, of which I would build one in my head, fishing from the shore, fishing from a rental boat or a float tube, as I'm counting down my jig or making note of the diving depth of my medium diving crankbait, and building that and going back to that information at a very rudimentary, fundamental level. But now I can have all that info, 100% accurate, displayed in front of me that I can glance at because it's a 12-inch screen. I can get all this tidbits of information and decipher it in that moment and make decisions and adjust accordingly. It's crazy.
Let's get and it's amazing the way you've got it set up. So tell everybody, like, you have 3 units. What is each unit dedicated for while you're fishing up front?
Yeah, absolutely. But first of all, big shout out to my boys in Western Minnesota, the Bass Brawl Outdoors guys, Lyle Held, Casey Ellert. They're the ones that helped me bring this to life. And they were the ones that rigged it with all the appropriate gauge wire, make sure everything was powered, made sure all 5 units were talking to each other so I can actually display the same information amongst all 5 units and to make it all work together in sync. So to start it off, I've got 2 units on the console. On the left side, I've got the EchoMap 122, and I have that one because I can display 2D and topographical information on that unit, and then next to it, I've got a 126, which has side scan capability. So I only need 1 unit with that side scan transducer mounted on the transom. So while I'm idling, I'm able to see both side scan, down view, and the structure scan, and a topographical layout all simultaneously and all at a glance, especially when I'm running on pad, and especially when I'm on unfamiliar water with hazards. So it's about being safe and getting as much of that information as I can. Another thing I like doing is running a full blown up representation of that topographical map on one screen, so I can see the overall layout as I'm buzzing down the lake 60, 70 mile plus down the water. And then on the second unit, I'll have a zoomed in tight view so I can make small micro adjustments as I'm dipping through an obstacle course potentially, and I've got traditional 2D sonar as well on that split screen. So that's why I've got two 12s on the dash. I've had two 10s before and really wanted a little bit extra clarity, because when you're going that fast, and especially me, I'm running with a helmet, so I'm not taking seagulls to the dome at 65 miles an hour. I've seen that happen. It didn't look fun. I can make quick adjustments and decisions and stay safe and efficient. And up on the bow, we've got two 122 units and a 126 for side scan capability coming off that front of the boat. And my 126 can display side scan and 2D and a topographical map. And since it's a 12-inch unit, like even that, a half of a screen dedicated to the topo map is perfect for me to be able to position my boat in a manner that I feel is best for approaching whatever spot. And then here's the fun part. And I don't know if I want to dive too deep into this quite yet, because we talked about doing a piece for Bass University on this setup, but I will give you a brief overview in that I have one 12-inch screen dedicated to traditional forward-facing live scope and a second screen dedicated to perspective mount.
Wow.
What is perspective mount? Elaborate on that a little bit. Just like what does perspective mount look like?
So perspective mount has become available in the last year or so, and they came up with a bracket to where your live scope transducer can go from that traditional forward-facing mount to inverted 90 degrees. So now you've got a horizontal perspective, and I want to say it's like 170-degree field of view in front of the trolling motor now. So you had to manually set that transducer and pick between the two views. Forward-facing, narrow beam, but you could see the entire water column out in front of you up to 70, 80 feet, I believe, down to whatever. And I didn't want to give that up because I've gotten accustomed to adjusting my fishing style with traditional baits and even big baits, because I've done it with the big glide bait and a big soft bait, and watched fish engage with my lures in real time out to 70 feet of water in any visibility. I was not willing to give that up. But I also wanted the benefits of seeing the layout in a horizontal fashion with that new perspective mounted live scope. So it was a solution. Work a little harder, buy another unit, buy another transducer.
Right. Oliver, when you're running all those kind of electronics, Mike P on the message board wants to know, talk about your battery setup a little bit. How many batteries?
Man.
What kind are you running? Is there specific layouts?
Right. I've definitely noticed it's not a small power draw with any of this live scope technology, and with the fact that I'm running 5 units, a hydrowave, LED lights, this, that, and a third that you guys are going to see through this boat build video that we're going to drop hopefully sooner than later. Like obviously the power demands are high, and I felt like this was the time to make the transition from lead acid batteries to lithiums. So I'm running Battleborns, and the boys at Bass Pro Outdoors ran 2 of them in sequence. So I've got like 200 amp hours for the cranking battery. So all 5 units can run off of that cranking battery. I can run my aerator simultaneously all day long without fear of losing power, and still have more than enough juice to crank up that big motor after a long, hard day on the water. And we've got 3 other batteries in there that the 36-volt Garmin trolling motor is running off of. And I'm pretty sure it's got a little bit to do with the battery system and the trolling motor itself. But like, this is the fastest speed I've ever got out of a bass boat on the trolling motor. I'm talking about a real big fiberglass bass boat. I mean, I'm 4 miles an hour. Like, I'm zipping.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. And on my way out here to get the boat to Mike at VFX Wraps, I actually made a couple stops. We stopped in Milwaukee, tried to catch those big brown trout, and missed that by a little bit. But we spent 2 days out there. Never got a chance to plug the boat in to recharge. Made a pit stop in Detroit, Michigan on St. Clair to try to get my boy Johnny and my girlfriend on her first potential muskie opportunity. Fished 2 days there. And then we went all the way up into Connecticut and did some striper fishing for 2 days and fished with the graphs on the entire time, trolling motor blazing, and still didn't get to put that boat on a charger for another 2 days. And as we were pulling out of there, and this could have been my fault, it was freezing. And I was using this as an excuse because my buddy Johnny is a lot like this guy named Michael Iaconelli, to where like he does not want to leave no matter what. Yeah. And I might have stood up and that kill switch might have disengaged, but I'm not sure. But I couldn't get the big motor to crank. And I'm just like, oh, man. And we're like way up this river, and it's freezing, and literally a snowstorm is descending upon us. And luckily, I've got that new power pole charging system in this boat. And one of the dope features about this thing is I can go on my phone, pull up this Sea Monster app, and there's an option to draw power from the 3 trolling motor batteries and feed it into the cranking battery.
Is that right?
Dude, it was wild. And I did that, and I can watch it in real time on my app. It's literally pulling juice from the trolling motor batteries, which are still at like 80-something% capacity, which is wild because I was on that trolling motor a lot of those days.
That's sick, dude.
And made sure at this point that my kill switch was definitely engaged. Did the secret sequence to get this boat fired up, and it fired right up. So I got like 5-6 days of fishing out of this system before it may have failed to crank over.
Wow.
And that wasn't a real test on purpose to see like the threshold of how far I can push this thing. This is just how it kind of unfolded because we're staying in places I didn't have access to plug the boat into. But that gives me a lot of confidence as I go and compete. Like, there probably won't be too many scenarios where I won't be able to plug in for 5 or 6 days.
No, but that's, it's awesome that you have that kind of power, because there's tournaments like you're going to face, I know you're fishing a lot this year. You're jumping in those spawn tournaments, the sight fishing deals where you're standing on that motor, just covering water all day, chasing power is, man, it's a monumental thing. And we're always wrestling with it at the hotels,
right?
Because there's like 15 guys all plugged up to the same power source. So yeah, what a warm blanket that is to have that kind of power available to you.
No, it's a really nice peace of mind to have. And there's another added benefit. Now, I've got 5 batteries in my boat. If they were like the Blue Top Optimas that I was running in the past, those things are like 70 pounds a piece. You multiply that, that's a lot of weight in the back of that boat. And I'm able to shed, I think each one of those batteries is like 30 pounds, give or take.
Yep.
Yeah, you multiply that 5 times, that's a lot of weight. That's a whole nother person.
No, and that helps you trailering on the highway.
Yep.
To, fuel economy when you're driving your boat, speed and the trolling motor, whole bit, man. Yeah, that's a wonderful deal. And I'm using lead acid batteries in my boat, and I keep looking at that technology, that lithium stuff, and I'm going to make that jump over there pretty soon.
Yeah, it finally just got to a point where it made sense for me.
Hell yeah, man. Shit.
Awesome.
Got the means.
I see somebody in the Zoom line here.
Pete?
I see somebody over there. What's your name and where you zooming in from?
Hello, my name is Kane Navarro, and I'm from Southern California.
Yo, Pudding Stone is in the house. What's up, my man?
Yeah, what's up, Oliver?
That's awesome, man. It's awesome to have the West Coasters come and visit with us. Now we're getting West Coast Zoom callers, man. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I've been watching this young man putting the hammer down on my home lake with the big bait. And he's also doing things on the tournament side of things. He just actually fished right in Brandon's backyard not too long ago in the fish off, right?
Yeah.
Are you fishing the high school programs or college programs, or what are you fishing?
I'm starting to fish the high school now that I just got into high school, so I'm going to start fishing those now.
Awesome. It's awesome that we have those high school programs. Don't you wish we had those, Oliver?
Man, you kids these days, you guys have no idea how good you got it.
They've got it awesome.
You guys got so many opportunities, man. It's really cool to see.
Kane, I got to tell you, so I just followed you on the gram real quick. You know, I'm quick to it. And your profile is awesome. It straight up says, I'm Kane from California, 14 years old. I've been fishing since I was 2.5, and I'm going to be a professional bass angler and FLW champion someday. Whoa. Go ahead, young man.
Say it with your chest.
Let's go.
That's setting the bar high, man. You got to set your goals. You got to aim high. That's impressive stuff, and it looks like you're on your way.
Kane, what these guys don't understand is if you can catch a fish out of pudding stone, you can do anything in the realm of fishing.
Yeah.
And they might be able to relate being here in Jersey. I've seen a little glimpse of that. Like these guys might be right in line.
Yeah, it sucks here too. We know about it.
Well, Kane, do you have a question for Oliver tonight?
Well, so when we doing that fish off with Troy Linder, Oliver?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm ready to take on Troy or you. Can we just like fish together? Like on the same team? I like my odds that way.
Yeah. Also, how are you going to start pre-fishing for those tournaments now? With are you going to put into a big bait into those at all, or
great
what
question?
Is it that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and here's the thing. It's a lot of the same methodology that I utilize even in my travels across the country, right? Obviously, I'm looking for the biggest bite opportunity, but most of the time, those windows aren't there. So I've got to fall back and understand what my best chance to catch the biggest bass in whatever that scenario is regardless. And it doesn't matter what I catch a big bass on. It just happens to be that my best technique and method of finding these big fish is with the swim bait. But I don't have a problem doing it with a crankbait. I don't have a problem doing it with the spinning rod, with finesse, whatever it takes, man. So I'm looking forward to spending as much time as I can on these often new bodies of water. I've got some history on a couple of the stops. That always helps. But, man, I really do just enjoy going to a brand new lake and figuring out a brand new puzzle. And really, it's taken me this long to get myself into a boat that we were just talking about with all these tools, because now I have no excuse. I'll be able to go out there blind and put together the puzzle pieces, hopefully. And if I recognize windows of opportunity to pick up that big bait and stick a big one, you better believe I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I could hear you all day. Like when Oliver was teaching today, he was visualizing, this bait. They've never seen this bait in, New York, or they've never seen this bait, whatever. I could just see the wheels turning in your brain, just, thoroughly excited about what you're going to do with, or, potentially do with some of these in the tournaments. But let me ask you about practice. Have you figured out what kind of time frames you're practicing for a tournament? Are you going to do the minimum like some guys do, or max out your time like other guys do? Are you a minimal guy, or as much time as I can manage kind of guy?
Well, I'm in a unique scenario where I work for myself at this point. I build my own schedule. But with that being said, I've put together a pretty ambitious year of creating content around both the tournament schedule on these opens, but as well as the in-between. So we'll be doing some awesome adventuring series. We're going to do an awesome adventuring series through Black Rifle Coffee Company in between the tournament events. So I won't be able to spend the maximum amount of time pre-fishing, but I'm definitely giving myself a good window And the more time I can spend on a body of water, the more it's going to pay off. That's definitely a constant within all fishing. Time on the water gives you more opportunities to learn. So I'm excited to spend as much time on especially the new bodies of water, and hopefully discover something that nobody else has, and be able to recognize my windows of opportunity when that bigger bite can come into play, which I hope is more often than not. But we'll see. It's going to be a fun puzzle. What a lot of guys don't realize is, although a lot of people that are familiar with what I've been doing recently don't understand that I came from a culture of tournament fishing in Southern California from the club level when I was Kane's age. And actually, I'm still a little bitter at my old club, the California Bass Contenders, because when I was his age, I showed up to a meeting big-eyed, super excited, like, oh, man, look at these guys. These guys fish tournaments. They all got fancy, glittery boats, right? And they actually didn't let me in the club because I didn't have a guardian or a parent or someone to pretty much watch over me. And for supposed insurance reasons, they shot me down for joining the club. So I actually wasn't able to compete at Kane's age, or even through high school.
Yeah.
Like, they literally shut the door on me on that one.
Well,
And there was no high
16,
school
right?
programs. The fishing culture in Southern California definitely wasn't at the level it is anywhere in the country, let alone even now with Kane being involved in those kinds of events. So that was actually part of firing me up and putting a chip on my shoulder. So when I actually turned 18 and I came back to the club, I used that energy in a positive way and really deep dove into becoming the best tournament angler at that level, because that time, that club level was all I could afford to participate in. It was mind-blowing to me to be able to spend $300 between a team to enter a regional team tournament even. So there was just a progression from the very fundamental basic levels and all the way up. And it's crazy because now I've actually been able to do it to a point where I'm going to go fish the opens today. I mean, Pete felt the tension in the air this morning. Like, I'm not a big wig in the industry, so I couldn't get on that VIP pre-entry list that he was on. So I had to cough up another $500 just so I can try to register for these 9 events and beg these guys to take $7,200 of my deposit money today. And he was like, oh, yeah, it took me like 11 minutes. And mind you, we're on the water trying to shoot episodes for Bass University. And, dude, this thing won't even let me into, like, the first page of login info. And long story short, 45 minutes later, I finally got through. But I'm like, man, like, my whole year and all these crazy ambitious plans are predicated on giving these guys $7,200 that I can't even give to them right now. So there's just been a lot of tournament fishing experience for me at multiple levels, at the very grassroots level, and I'm excited to see if I can just not suck that much at this level.
I think you're going to do amazing, and it was fun. Like, I told you this story while we were out there, man. It was so cool. It reminded me of the first years that I entered them, and it was back before the interweb was around, and it was all phone calling, right? And I worked in an office building, all cubicles, so I had everybody that I worked with the Bassmaster's number on speed dial, everybody in there, guys, girls, and we just, as soon as they opened it up, everybody started clicking, and then whoever got through first would raise their hand, and I'd run over there and enter the tournaments, and it worked. It worked like a charm every year that we tried it. But I remember it was so much fun and I saw it in Oliver's eyes today, the opportunity. The panic, a little bit of the panic, but moreover, like, living the dream, like going for it and taking that stab. And even everybody that was helping me call through in the office, they had that same look, like they were living through me, trying to go down that path and help me get registered. So that was kind of cool. I felt like I owed that back. So I was trying to do what I could to help you get yourself on track and get into the tournaments.
And we needed your Midas touch because Clint was actually trying to call on his phone. I'm trying to refresh on my phone and browser. And get this, guys. Pete makes one call. It rings one time. Hello?
Is that right?
Dude, just like that. I'm like, yo, man, like you just got to big time us like that.
That's awesome.
Yep, that was awesome. But I was psyched when that happened. I was like high-fiving, fist bumping.
Like
I'm
that was
like,
a
yes!
mini celebration in itself.
Yeah. Like putting a giant swim bait fish in the
Man,
boat.
you guys have just beat me down so much this week.
That's
like
right.
my threshold for celebration is really, really low.
Somebody answers the phone. Oh my God.
I'm about to go Ike in this.
Oh man.
Just happy
that's big time. But no, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing that. Zane, I want to wish you good luck. Are you fishing in the co-angler side of tournaments? Are you on the boater side? How do you fish that at your age?
So right now I'm fishing, I think 2 clubs. I may be fishing 3 for 2021. But for in SoCal, I have to give a big thanks to Andy for the SoCal Junior Bass. He makes a great program where he's giving all the, I think it's 11 to 16 year olds a great chance to get out there and go fishing, because he gets the pros from down there that are willing to boat, and he calls them all up and not wasting, but using his entire time and spending all that time to go get the pros and get he gets 2 kids and they both go fish on their boat for the entire day, and they see what they can weigh in.
Very cool.
It's
good.
amazing.
Thank you for that effort. And man, that's awesome that there's people out there that make that commitment, take those boys fishing,
Yeah, I want to paint this picture because it is not easy for a kid of Kane's age to have access to fishing opportunities in Southern California. We just don't have the water. We don't have ditch pickles because we don't have ditches. We don't have farm pond video creators because we don't have farm ponds. Like, we've got a couple dozen drinking water reservoirs, and for now they continue to let us put boats on them and dangle a hook. And you got to really want it. Just like you got to really want it here in New Jersey to go out there and catch a fish, man. So kudos to the guys like Andy that are helping these young guys chase dreams.
That's right. Anybody can love it in Florida.
Right?
Try loving fishing up here.
No question. But JK, I want to throw it to you. You worked your butt off today for Bass University, and you put, I think, something very, very special that's coming up next Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, what were you able to put together for us?
Well, we are going to tackle our first virtual seminars available to everybody, and we have got JT Kinney, Bobby Lane, and John Cox. You want me to unveil the topics? We decided the topics, worked with these guys. We'll start with JT Kinney is going to be doing one seminar on heavy-duty stickworms, like beefed up, straight tail worms category. Not just a Florida technique, stuff that he's used all over the country. And then the next topic is going to be water temperature trends. And I'll say that again, water temperature trends. At first, I wanted to dive into it, and after about 5 minutes, JT had me sold. And that type of instruction is just nowhere to be found. So I'm really excited about that one. Talked to Bobby Lane. He's going to do a seminar on frogs, not frogs, toads, like reeling frogs, buzz frogs, like the horny toad style baits. That he's going to do that, talking about when to use them on a buzz bait, when to use them in certain situations. And then he's going to go into a deep dive on worm fishing, talking about when to choose a straight tail worm versus one with a ribbon tail or some sort of action tail. And then we got the man, John Cox, who I think is probably the best sight fisherman on the planet right now.
Man.
So we're going to get the sight fishing seminar from John Cox finally at Bass UTV, and I'm pumped about that. And then something else he's picked up is an affinity for the last couple of years for fishing crankbaits in cold water, shallow crankbaits. So he's going to do a shallow cranking in cold water piece as well.
He should
so
just
all of that coming to you.
He should just do a piece on how to be John Cox, because it really doesn't matter what he's throwing.
Isn't it the truth? John is just gifted, you know.
It's natural.
I never threw this before, and he wins a tournament.
Yeah.
How do you teach that?
Yeah, I don't know. You know how you teach it? You never leave the water, and that's what John does. He is just, I mean, it doesn't matter. He'll get done a tournament that he did poorly in, and the next day he's fishing for like 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and then he's off to the next place fishing. He just, I can't imagine. He must come close to 300, 350 days a year on the water. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
He's the epitome of our motto: never stop learning. And he doesn't. He's, you know, School of Iaconelli. I don't care who's going to teach me, if he's going to be way younger than me or not. I mean, he's going to come right out and tell people that flat side deal. I mean, he learned from Brad Rutherford, who's, you know, a little younger than him and doesn't compete on the tour or anything, and showed him a few things. And I think that will come out in his seminar. But like, John is a pure learner. You know, he's not done.
That's all. And he's great. And he's so fun. He's so much fun to watch. I mean, the guy looks like he's having fun, whether they're biting or they're not biting. It doesn't seem to matter. He just, it's an entertaining scenario every time he's on the water. But hey, awesome lineup. Look for more details on bassu.tv and the bassuniversity.com. Once we get all the details figured out, and we will have them for you within the next few days. We'll have it all posted there, and look for it on social. We'll be letting all you guys know, and subscribers look in your newsletter inbox. We'll be letting you know the details on all that stuff. And I see another person on Zoom. I'm glad to have him, another Bass U subscriber. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Richie Lockery from Branson, Missouri.
All right.
Right.
Man, we got West Coast, we got Central States. We're all over the map tonight, man. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, man. We're talking with Oliver and I, big swim baits. What question do you have for us tonight?
What up, Rich?
Hey, buddy.
We got another insider calling in tonight.
Man, you guys are just getting infiltrated.
All
When's
your
that
boys
Matt?
are hanging out. That's cool.
No, this is super
When's that
cool.
Matt Carp color coming back?
Oh man, word on the street is they're coming back like hopefully soon because that bite is almost here.
I know.
What bite is the carp bite?
That bite we talked about on the boat today for the Bass U, that pre-spawn biggest heaviest fish of the year bite.
Is that when they feed on carp?
Man, have you guys ever seen a small carp?
Never.
Think about that. Chew on it, spit it out.
It's gray, kind of gray, silvery. Kind of looks like gizzard shad sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like largemouth love eating carp. And I think a lot of things do. They're slimy. They're not spiky. They probably go down the hatch. They're really just an oversized goldfish.
Yeah.
And I've very rarely seen one under like 2 pounds.
My melee last May, April on the mag draft, that was on a lake that has a lot of carp.
Yeah, tell these guys about that, Rich, because you're doing work, number 1, with a big bait, number 2, in a kayak, and number 3, in the Ozarks.
Ooh.
Yes. I was, we'll start with last year, or 19 actually, when MLF was in town. I got on.
Hold on, you guys are just going to drag Kane through this whole thing and make him sit there?
No, I mean, that's Kane's deal.
Kane, shout out to you, Kane, man. Thanks for the question,
welcome
bro.
To hang out with us.
I hope you guys out
hang
here.
with us as long as you like, buddy.
I'll make it short as possible. So this is right when freestyles came out. Got on the lake, got on a bite, racked up in kayak tournament terms an almost 25 bag of bass. And right as the bite tipped off. I had seen this family pull up a couple hundred yards behind me, and the one guy's just hooping and hollering every time they catch a fish. And I get turned around, head back toward the ramp, and I get closer to this boat, and it's freaking Mike jumping on the bow of this boat with every 8 and 10 inch rainbow trout they yank up in the boat.
Like Ike and Ellie?
Yeah, Ike and Ellie. Yeah. He was out there with Rebecca and his kids and Dave Mansu catching trout right and left off this weed line.
And he was making a bunch of noise and disturbing the peace.
Oh, yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Not that my bite was already over. So at that time, I only had the 6-inch with me. So fast forward March last year, same setup. Cast the freestyle, catch one. Second cast, freestyle, catch one.
Tell them how big
this
these are.
time. I had these first two were like 18, 19 inches, and so I'm 2 for 2 on casts. Pick up the 8-inch, launch it at the spot, let it sink to the bottom. Pick it up, just tick in the bottom, and it loads up. Swing on it, reel the fish in, and I slap a 9.5 pounder on the board.
Oh my God!
Good night. This is from Table Rock.
Yeah, nearby.
Don't you ever give up your spots,
in the
buddy.
vicinity. And that was it on that spot. I caught Mama. All the kids were mad. No one else wanted to play. I left for an hour, came back, nothing. Picked up a jig, started tossing around, got onto another spot, had 8 fish and 10 casts, and then there was a little stick up to the left, and I tossed that jig over there. Hop, tick, swung, rod loaded up. I cranked in another 9-pounder.
Good night. That's not a part of the country where you're supposed to be able to do that.
So I finished the day with my 5 best fish at 100.5 inches. And I was looking at the leaderboard for our monthly online. Mind you, this is the end of the month. And I had a guy sitting in second with like 98 inches. And had some small fish he could cull. So I went out 2 days later, again, morning bite, set up with the 8-inch mag draft. I sat there, caught 5 fish in 7 casts, and culled my bottom 3 fish. And I ended up with I was a hair under 110 inches for my best 5.
Good Lord.
That's a winner.
So
On the big bait.
On the big bait. On the 8-inch mag draft.
Freestyle.
No, well, yeah, I got them. I got the harness out.
Now tell me, you said freestyle. I have no idea what that means.
It's really just a blank mag draft swim bait body without a harness.
Yeah.
So before that became available, I was cutting them out with a razor blade and then rigging them on a weedless beast hook like we were showing how to do today on that episode.
On that episode.
Yep.
Today's installment of No Hunch or Bass.
On the 6-inch freestyle, I just throw a 8-aught, the 3/8 ounce owner beast hook in it. I started playing with the VMC heavy duty willow blade hooks. With just a hair cut on the back of the hook slot of the freestyle, the 9-aught will fit, but the 7's a better fit. And then I had the 11-aught VMC in the 8-inch. It puts the hook point half or 3/4 of an inch further back over a 10-aught beast hook. Whether or not it may have picked up on my hooking percentage, but it pretty well concreted my opinion on the hook with reeling in a 9.5 pounder with it, and multiple other 6s and 7s I caught in the next month and a half.
That's decent validation. By the way, nice hat now that I can see it.
Yes.
That was the hat I was wearing that day.
Super cool.
but yeah, so I racked up almost 110 inches for this online limit, and then I went out when the conditions were right. It's a conditional bite. I went out 3 weeks later, had my 3-year-old in the rear tank well of my lure 13.5, went out to this spot and racked up another 96.5-inch limit. I made 12 casts and caught 8 fish, I think.
That's
I'm going to try and figure out where Richie's fishing. Follow him on the gram. You can probably sneak out all his spots in the Ozarks. But, man, thank you for sharing that, brother. Good to hear from you.
Table Rock, something.
Appreciate you. Word on the street is we got Mr. Palaniuk in the queue.
That's right.
Ask him about walleye swimbait fishing.
Walleye swimbait fishing. Check.
Hey, all right, guys. Hey, man, thanks for joining
so much,
us.
guys.
Yep.
We'll make sure you got Riz has got your contact information. We'll hook you up with some Bass U swag, and I'm super excited. It looks like we had some storms or some issues, but it sounds to me like we got Mr. Palaniuk somewhere nearby. I don't see him up on our Facebook page yet, so I imagine he's trying to get worked in. I'm looking forward to that. Your boys are all calling in, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I feel bad for kicking them out. I really am like the Bass U hall monitor.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hey,
Brandon's got real bad service, so he's been trying and unnecessarily apologizing for not being able to get on. But it is what it is. He's out there in paradise, and
yep. Hey, real quick, also, this is something that's really important for fishing in general, is keeping the youth of the sport involved. And right now, the Ike Foundation is working on putting together something really cool this year, because the Ike Foundation can't do their normal events to help raise money to get kids involved in the sport of fishing. So what they're doing is on January the 31st, they're doing an old school telethon. And with that telethon, there's going to be online raffles, giveaways, questions with Mike, all kinds of fun stuff going on. So make sure you mark your calendars for January 31st. The Ike Foundation is doing a telethon to help raise money to get kids involved in the sport of fishing.
Outstanding. Well, we'll all be there and doing what we can to support that. It's a great cause, and Mike's been doing that forever and ever. And here's another kid that's now available for us that got into fishing and has done some winning with some big swim baits. And that's why we got him on tonight. And it's great to have him on the show again. He's one of the best, the big time winner out on the Elite Tournament Trail. Great to have you with us, Brandon. How you doing tonight, man? Did the storms finally allow the Wi-Fi to get through?
Audio.
You unmute yourself, Brandon. We got you on mute.
Palaniuk. Glad to be
Did
here.
you
Sorry, I've been sitting here for an hour trying to get my phone. Computer. I might be frozen right now. I don't know what you guys can see, can hear.
This is like the first episodes of Ike Live we did, Brian.
Oh yeah, this is fantastic.
Replace with R2D2.
Yeah. You're a little bit frozen up on us, buddy. We'll hang in there.
We got a Walt Disney.
This is kind of like you trying to enter the Opens today, Oliver.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Who knows what? I don't even know what is on. Can you guys even hear me? I'll just hold this.
We got you. Are you there?
All right. All right. Tell us all the secrets, quick.
I don't know. Maybe.
We can hear you.
Find really big fish. Throw storm Arashi glides and catch big bass. And
Done.
Make sure they weigh more than Oliver's and all the others.
There it is.
That's solid.
There it is.
Thank you, Brandon.
Said the last part.
Everybody.
Thanks for coming out, Brandon. I appreciate you, buddy.
Totally worth the build-up.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff in there for you guys. Sorry, I don't know what I don't know. I owe you guys a good on the water training session or something for this one. It's been a disaster. My lovely North Idaho satellite internet.
Have you done a virus scan lately?
I've got a Mac. They don't get viruses.
Oh, yes, I got one too.
Your audio is pretty good.
They can get them. Just got to work harder.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Brandon, we got you now. I'm going to go right at you with the topic for tonight because I want to hear your input on this. We're talking about big swim baits, and it's a hit or miss sometimes scenario. When do you pick up a big swim bait to try to win a tournament, and when do you put it down? Exactly.
I hope you guys are writing that down.
He's probably spilling the goods too.
Yeah, Rich, cut that time for a post tomorrow.
Gotta love it. Well, we're being patient, man. We're being real patient, waiting for this signal, as patient as you can be for a live web show.
I think he's in the microwave.
I'm having a blast. I don't know about you guys.
I can't wait to edit this tomorrow to get it on file.
I love the dead air. It's fun.
Oh, that's my favorite.
It's great.
It's great for ratings.
Yeah,
Sponsors love it. It's amazing.
I got a question for JK. I want to ask him. I don't know. I'm waiting for Brandon.
He's still beaming in from the Enterprise.
Dial up.
That's right, people. Bass University, come get all the goods.
Yeah.
His AOL trial CD is probably running out.
Check the mail. You might have some fresh ones.
Did we just age ourselves? Damn.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, I hope we get him back. I mean, he's just the best.
No, Brandon, don't come back on. I appreciate.
We love you.
We
love you, Brandon.
I really had a lot of questions for Brandon.
Well, I got a question for you. I got a question for you, JK. You are one of the best co-anglers in the country, and I think you're marching your way to possibly holding that title as the best.
Wow,
and you are known for picking up a big swim bait from time to time. And what is your scenario as a co-angler? When do you pick up the big bait to try to get yourself, in that winner circle in a tournament as a co-angler? Or a team tournament guy, which you're also very proficient.
Tournament, it happens a little bit more than I want to talk about. But yeah, I definitely think the scenario from the co-angler aspect and the team aspect, a lot of times, sometimes I'm not bold enough to go pick it up when the bite window's right. And I'm sure Oliver talked about that, and taught us on some future BU TV stuff. But a lot of times it's when I got 5 in the well. I call it getting my license. So sometimes it's getting my top water license when top water's not going to get you 5 bites, but I won a derby catching a 6-pounder on a top water in post spawn one time when I knew the conditions were right, but I made myself get 5 in the well before I even touched it. Sometimes it's picking up a jig and gluing it in your hands. So whatever I feel like could catch me a kicker, which sometimes is a swim bait, I'll like a 5 or 6 inch glide bait sometimes from the back of the boat. A mag draft, 6-inch mag draft is a great tournament bait but you're talking about 4 to 6 pounders I'm hunting, and that's a kicker in a tournament. So I'm not really ever really throwing, like I'll throw the Arashi and I feel like that's a 6-inch glide. It's got a little bit bigger profile than some of the others, but yeah, I'm picking it up when I got 5 or when I'm in a championship tournament, like the tournament Matt Green won out of the back of the boat, the Toyota Series. I threw a glide bait on the final day. You know, they were on bluffs, they were looking up, and I said, you know, I'm going to toss it around on day 2, maybe a little bit, but on day 3, if I'm in the hunt, I'm going to, you know, at least try to make it work. Because I knew there was no possible way of catching 5 keepers that tournament. That was just, I mean, Matt won by catching 3 a day on the second and the third day with the glide bait. But so I guess it's more of a feel out scenario, but I would say if you can manage your limit, because it's so hard to get a limit. You know, I've fished 39, 40 co-angler events, and I don't know how many limits I've caught. I bet you it's somewhere around 25%. You know, it's hard to catch a limit from the back of the boat a lot of times. So I kind of work on that first before I go broke for a big.
Go big.
Yeah.
Before you go big. I get it. And that's important. And we're going to talk more about that. And, but I want to, you know, we've got Oliver here, Rich. Let's go to the IM board. What kind of questions do we have?
For sure. Way out west on the message board wants to know, Oliver, what are some of the characteristics in a day that tell you that the window of opportunity is opening for a big bait bite?
That doesn't sound like a complex question at all. It's a really
No,
easy
not
answer.
at all. Go ahead, go in on it.
Honestly, everything is situational. Every body of water is its own micro ecosystem. Every body of water has behavior from fish that are different from another, even if they're down the street from each other. There's no blanket answer for that. There are times when conditions like wind and a prefrontal storm coming through can fire off a fishery, but then there are some fisheries where that actually sends them the other way. And there are places where I can catch them with high sun and no wind, and there are places where I'm like, man, this is a huge waste of time. There's no easy answer. You have to spend time on the water. And that's why there's an emphasis for me to spend as much time on the water practicing for my events this year, so I can hopefully recognize all these subtle nuances to help me better determine my decision to either pick up a big bait or put it down. I try to go into scenarios, especially new ones, without preconceived notions. I use my experience up to this point in similar scenarios as a base, but I try to stay flexible and on the fly, because I've seen these fish just behave in ways they're not supposed to, theoretically. The bigger the bait, the more everything goes out the window.
Let me follow up with this. Like we had Chris Zaldane on talking about swim baits, big swim baits, and other guys. And one of the things that they talked about was sunny days, like sunny, calm, or sunny, very light breeze days, as being some of the biggest opportunity for scaling up to a big swim bait. And I thought the opposite. I thought it's got to be windy, cloudy, overcast for me to get them to tackle a bigger bait. But they commented otherwise. Do you feel that way?
Oh, I've definitely had that experience, that exact same experience. But once again, it goes back down to situations. I've had incredible days in low light, heavy wind, rain, the textbook stuff, multiple fish, right? A dozen to 20 bites on an 8 to 10 inch bait. Like, that's an incredible day. But it tends to lean towards a smaller class of fish for me. A lot of those fish are 3 to 8 pounds. The days where I catch the really big ones, and I'm talking double digits and bigger, almost all of them have come with high sun and high visibility.
No kidding. Wow.
So you're really never
so
out of the
funny.
game.
Yeah, it's so funny. I listened to you today say it all day long, but he's like, oh, well, the small fish, you know, those 5 to 10 pounders, you know.
I said smaller. But it all goes back to perspective, because in the fisheries that I was trying to catch big bass out of, I mean, those are big fish fisheries. And when I'm targeting the biggest fish in that lake, I'm hoping it's at least in upwards of double digit, if not teener class, down where those Florida strain and F1 hybrids are available. But up here in the north, I mean, gosh, northern strain fish are obviously smaller in size. My home lake is a northern strain lake. To see a 10-pound fish is a very special thing. Even being trout fed for most of my youth, they're northerns. They just didn't get to that mid to high teen capacity like the Floridas do. So it's always relative, but when you know what a system is capable of, and your hyper focus is on the biggest fish in the system, yeah, that's when a 5 to 8 pounder small.
That's amazing. And I get it. I completely get it. We have the northern strain around here. We see a 10-pounder and, it's call home to mom and,
it's crazy.
Do a celebration dance. And it rarely ever, I mean, our state record is just 10 pounds, so it's really cool to watch, and I invite you guys to go over and watch Big Bass Dreams and see some of these amazing giants that Oliver's caught on these big swim baits. It's pretty fascinating. And
lots of mediums and smalls throughout the country.
Yes.
Schmediums.
We got a lot of that.
All day long.
Oh, I got them smalls.
Yep. It's fun to listen to you dismiss a fish that I think is huge. But
once again, scenario, because I'm definitely not dismissing any of those this upcoming year.
And not this week.
And not this week. Not dismissing a hot
what was
meal
that
either.
one about a 4-pounder you caught this week? Was that 4 or 5?
Yeah, it was definitely not 5. It had a big frame. It was kind of hollow for a winter fish, in my opinion. So realistically, high 3s, low 4s, somewhere in that range.
Nice.
I was pumped because I knew that's a good fish.
Yeah, you were celebrating
that's like an 11 in California.
I was.
No.
What was that, Rich?
That's like an 11 in California.
Crazy.
Like if you just you scale it out, you divide by pi, carry the 1, it's like it's the same. So
well, I'll take a Jersey 11.
Yeah.
Take anything. Any questions over there, Rich? I got somebody I'm trying to get queued up in the Zoom, but he don't have his camera on.
Yeah, I got one I can go to. It's from Team
Jeff,
No
turn
Fish.
your camera on. Go ahead, Rich.
What's up, Andre? Team No Fish wants to know from you, Oliver, how much do you plan on throwing your big glide baits going into the Bassmaster Opens?
As much as I possibly can when I feel like I can catch one on it. But the reality is it probably won't be that much time.
So your mindset definitely has to be slightly different. Like when you're filming content specifically focused on a big bait, you're going to throw the big bait a lot, right?
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I have to catch as many bass as I can with the most combined weight with the opportunity to catch 5 of them. The scenarios where I can catch 5 big ones in the same day are small. Like I've done it a lot, but I've also not done it way many more times. So although I've got my head and dreams and aspirations high up in the clouds, I got to keep my feet firmly planted on the ground.
Right.
Good thinking. And, I've been down that road some, and, we've watched so many guys try and you got to be, we'll get you and Brandon talking about this, and I'm interested to see when Brandon's perspective is on putting that bait down. But I hear BTC talking over me. I don't know what he's saying. But I see a caller up on Zoom, and it's great to have another Zoom caller in, another subscriber. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes.
All right. Outstanding.
Jeff.
Batting 1,000. All right.
Jeff. Are you with Brandon?
Are you in Northern Ohio, Jeff?
Idaho,
rather.
Different places.
Jeff, unmute yourself.
Jeff.
That's good
My
stuff.
name is Jeff.
All right.
Close.
There you go.
Yeah, he's muted. So this week on the social media calendar, we're going to do a seminar on how to operate Zoom from a user's perspective.
That's a great idea, Rich.
Hey, man, to be fair, it was kind of confusing the first time I tried to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's...
Stick with it, Jeff. You're almost there.
Just start clicking everything. That's what I do.
Yeah, mash
I worked on the trolling motor.
Yeah, that's right. Just spit on it and kick it.
Are you with us, Jeff? Well, to the question that just got asked in Oliver, I want to say, I haven't thrown big swim baits in tournaments for probably about, and I call big like 6-7 inch, you know, in that range. But after spending the day in the boat with you today, I'm folding them and not just bringing new baits. I heard and saw some stuff and looked at some techniques that really impressed me, you know, on things that I'm like, wow, I really need to try to look at, you know, learning and getting to know some of these bigger bait techniques, you know.
It's worth your time, brother. It really is.
And some of the biggest baits and some of the, you know, were so, like I was saying, that big shad bait. What was the name of that one?
The really beat up one?
Yeah.
That's a Hinkle Shad, 9 inches long.
Gosh, it looked so beat up. It looked so clunky, and when he was holding it, but the minute it hit the water, it like became fluid, and you were like, wow, that's one of the best looking shads I've seen. You know?
Yeah, you guys should have seen Pete's eyes just pop out of his eyeball, like out of his eye sockets, man. It was cool to watch his engagement with it. Yeah, that's a special bait that brings me back to countless memories engaging with bigger fish.
I've seen that look in his eyes when a pizza hits the hotel room door.
I would have that same experience after this week.
Room service.
Very, very similar.
Yes.
Well, I see a Bass University hat on Zoom. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Drew, and I'm calling from Southern Illinois. I was on the call a couple weeks ago, too.
He's very professional.
What up, Drew?
Hey, congratulations on your excellent Zoom capability.
Yo, Zoom.
Thank you.
He gets a prize. He gets something.
You're a better Zoomer than a Bassmaster Elite champion.
Outstanding.
Well, I guess I can brag about that.
Yeah. Hey, we're glad to have you, man. What you got a question for us tonight?
Yeah, I got a question, a follow-up question. You were talking about big baits for finding fish with Cumberland a couple weeks ago. Well, I watched the show last week, and I was at Kentucky Lake for 3 days this weekend, and I was using a big swim bait to find fish with live scope and then chase them down kind of like the Patrick Walters jerk bait thing. And when you're trying to find fish with a big bait, find fish, not catch them, are you more likely to find them on a soft plastic swim bait or like a glide bait, a hard swim bait?
Man, Oliver, that question is going right to you, brother.
Well, things have changed now with this forward-facing technology, right? Typically when I'm fishing, a lot of these soft baits are lowered down in the column, and even in clear water, you're not getting visual engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the time, all you're getting is a thump at the back half of this cast. And then once in a while, as that bait's swinging up off the bottom towards the boat, you'll be able to see fish engage with it. But just the nature of most glide baits and where guys are presenting them in the column, which is typically in the mid column and up, kind of works out in our favor that we're seeing a lot more engagements. So is it easier for us as humans to see followers and biters and engagement on a glide bait versus most soft baits? Probably yes. But because of that dynamic, it may not be that glide bait has more drawing power or capability than a soft bait. It's just the manner in which we're using those lures lends us to see more of those fish on a glide bait. But like you said, now that we got forward-facing technology, we might be able to see these fish suck up and stay on the bottom, through this technology, which is wild.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I was using a big Strike King Shadowlicious swim bait, so it's a hollow body. It's not like a mag draft or anything.
You can do
and imagine I'm trying to ease into it. I'm trying to ease into it. Before the past couple of weeks, I mean, I'd never ventured past like a 4.8 Kitech.
Whoa, dude! Hey, seriously, kudos to you for taking that step and having faith in it. That's a big step, man. So that's cool. I'm glad to hear that.
And when I was doing that, I was actually trying to bring them off the bottom so I could see them on live scope and have the guys in the back of the boat throwing a jerk bait and following up and catching them. But I caught 2, including a 3.5 pound smallmouth before they even caught one on a jerk bait.
What?
Even got to see the smallmouth eat it follow it 30 feet before biting it.
Isn't that cool, man?
Man, that's dope.
It's awesome.
Have you seen the YouTube videos we've done, like from Clear Lake this year with live scope and big baits?
I don't know that I have.
You should.
I mean, I saw about it, but I hadn't opened it.
You should. It's pretty wild. It's akin to what you experience firsthand. And it just goes to show, man, it's crazy the drawing capability of these big baits in general, and being able to fool them with the help of that kind of technology, which never existed before. It's dope.
So when practicing for tournaments, how often do you apply like a big bait, either seeing them with your eyes or with your graph, to find fish in practice?
Yeah, it's just gonna vary. There's just no blanket answer for that. If I feel I can get fish to engage with a big bait of some kind, especially in practice, like I'm probably not focusing in practice with that big bait as much, because if they're gonna eat it, like those conditions got to line up during competition, and like I don't want to even think about sticking a big fish during practice when you know that fish may have been there and bit during competition. I'm probably going to focus most of my practice on figuring out the other ways to catch them, because I'll be able to recognize my windows of opportunity during competition, and I'm just going to go for it, man. And hopefully that muscle memory and those decisions I make lead up to catching those fish when it matters. But I'm not really too worried about actually seeing fish. I mean, with especially with the way my boat's rigged and the technology that's on it, I should, if I can't find where these fish live, I'm in trouble.
I got a question. You talk about engagement, and the question was great. You know how you use the bait to get the fish to come up, and guys were able to catch them with a jerk bait. What is your strategy, Oliver, for when you get engagement but you don't get connection on a fish? Or, I mean, can you drop a drop shot in there? Do you have a follow-up strategy? Do you leave and come back? What's the strategy for that?
And that's a great question, and this always comes back to what your goals are, right? In most of my trophy fishing, like I don't care to catch them any other way. Like I still felt like a big bait was my best chance at fooling that fish into slipping up and making a mistake. And take my first experience with Mr. Terrible Zoomer, Brandon Palaniuk, on the front deck of my boat. And he had yet to have caught a fish on the Roman-made mother glide bait yet. And we're working down this bank that I'm getting familiar with in Austin. And within the first 20 minutes of fishing, I see a fish come up and engage with his mother. I forget what the specs on that bait are, but it's big. It's probably 12 inches and 10 ounces in size. And the fish and its body language is telling me like, ooh, like it's not ready to pounce on that thing. And I want to say Brandon, just like many of us, might have had that inkling to finish his cast and fire back in there. But typically, if they're not going to eat it on that first go, I was telling him, hey, let's keep working down the bank. We'll leave that fish. We'll come back to it when something changes, right? Whether that's the time of day, angle of the sun, more or less wind, shadow lines, something. Something has changed in that equation, and we'll come back to that fish. And we fish down the bank for 30 to 40 minutes because the goal in this scenario was for him to catch one on that mother, not just catch that fish. So we came back, approached it from a different angle. He fires back in there. The video's on YouTube on both his channel and mine. And we talked about this in the Bass Use, the piece that we filmed today. Like, how do you recognize bites? Well, this fish actually pretty much was a pressure bite for Brandon. And he thought he had like made the bait overwork itself on a glide to where these glides will foul hook themselves on that front treble. And you can see him kind of hesitate on this thing and then realize like, oh wait, that's a fish. And he actually sets a hook on this thing, which ended up working out for us anyway. But just like that, in that scenario, we were able to follow up that fish with the same bait and catch it. But in the tournament situation, I may throw anything else that I feel that it'll eat. That could be a weightless stick bait. That could be another swim bait, a more subtle option. You just never know. Hopefully it's not a float and fly.
Oof.
I don't think we have any of those tournaments on the schedule this year. But this was brought up. Patrick Walters was in the news on Bass Times, and it was great to see Patrick on the cover as a record setter at Lake Fork. He won by we talked about margins of victory today, Oliver.
Yes.
It's funny that this was sitting on my in my mailbox when I came home. He won by 29 pounds 10 ounces.
Is that good?
Second place.
Man,
relative.
What a performance.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Congratulations, Patrick. Well done.
Yep, like Brandon Palaniuk on Zoom. Flawless.
Flawless.
Because you had a big win, and you were telling me about it, and I was amazed because it was a one-day tournament, and you had a massive double-digit win. And because it was a huge stringer of fish. What's your record one-day catch?
One-day team tournament was 35.79.
It's pretty good.
And I thought we lost.
Why's that?
Because this is in the middle of that crazy run we were talking about on Hike Live, right? Where I'm just like 7 weeks of just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
8s, 9s, a 10 hopefully, or an 11 mixed in. And on this day, we didn't get 1 over 8.
Yeah.
And this is the middle of the sequence, right? And we're fishing against some hammers, like in local scene there, that have won big tournaments on the big bait there by big margins as well. And I was like, man, one of those guys definitely got one. And I didn't think we had big fish. I was hoping we'd at least finish, like, somewhat decent with the 35-pound bag.
Yeah,
but
jeez.
Yeah, the second and third place teams had 16 pounds and change. So we ended up doing pretty good.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
good margin. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, thank you for the question, and thanks for being part of Bass University.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy the journey, man. Have fun learning the big bait and the deep dark hole that you're going to be diving into.
Do you think we could employ you to teach others how to use Zoom?
Yes.
For the future?
I could do it. Yeah.
Just thinking that.
Hey, man, thanks so much, man. Have a great night.
Thank
you. We look forward to hearing from you again. Make sure the guys got your info so we can hook you up with some more swag. He doesn't need a hat. That's a sharp looking hat. So
sounds good. Thank you.
Well, thanks for hanging out. And JK, you're our list man.
I got lists.
What do you have prepared for us tonight?
Well, I had a big swim bait tournament theme list, even though we didn't get to talk to BP about it, but we've been talking about it. And so I have the 5 biggest swim baits to win an Elite Series level event.
Now wait a minute.
5 biggest by size?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the bait itself.
That I can scrounge up and find. I could totally miss one, but I mean, as we know, the big bait category, I was considering a big bait 7 inches or larger.
Okay.
5 times where a 7-inch swim bait, which 7 might be a little small for Oliver, but I think I've got 5 tournaments where 7 or 8-inch swim bait won a tournament.
Can I guess a couple of them before you start rifling them off?
Yes.
I would love to hear that.
Yes.
Doing the list.
All right. So Steve Kennedy put in work on Clear Lake.
Yep.
Some of it was on a Bass Tricks hollow body, which I don't think counts.
No,
5 or 6 inch size. But he caught a lot of key fish on the 8-inch Huddleston.
That's right.
Okay. Velvic is one on Clear Lake and other places on the BV 3D by Rago.
That's right.
Skeet one on Smith Mountain Lake, I believe, on the SKT Swimmer.
That's not the top 5. That was a 6-inch bait though, but not on the top 5.
All right.
Okay, I like that threshold, man. See, that's good.
Keeping you honest.
That's what's up.
You got to work now.
But that's great. That's great memory too.
Yeah. Hear that, Skeet? You didn't make the cut this time.
And that's all I got.
Go ahead.
Well, and Skeet makes the list and he's the only one to make it list with a hollow body, but it was a 7-inch.
Oh man, that 6-inch skeet's more of a swim bait than that 7-inch hollow body. Come on.
I know. And I knew that you would say that, but I had to go with the 7-inch threshold, and he got in there on the Gunnersville. And that's a big swim bait. I think he was using a 10-aught, hook. But yeah, you got the Steve Kennedy 8-inch HUD at 2007 Clear Lake, the BB 3D Rego on 2010 Clear Lake with Velvet. And then I gave the skeet Gunnersville, but I also had written down the Smith Mountain as an honorable mention when he did the 6-inch SKT Rego.
Big baits on the highest level. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Well, Steve Kennedy was the first one, okay? Or 07 was the earliest. And then in 08, Todd Faircloth won at Amistad, catching a lot of fish on a 6-inch Senko, but a lot of key fish on that really big Osprey swim bait. Then the following year at Amistad, 09, because I think they started fishing Amistad even earlier. I know Fred Rimbanis came up short to Ish, but Fred was throwing big swim bait too. But Jason Williamson won his first Elite Series event on Amistad, throwing that 8-inch Osprey. So, and Faircloth never gave up the goods on which Osprey he was throwing, because they made like an 8-inch, a 9-inch.
Oh, they made a bunch of variations.
And I to this day still can't figure out which one he was throwing. But I will say this: the common denominator in all of the big tour level events is the fact that a glide bait has yet to win one.
Ooh.
Like, and be responsible for most of the catches.
Can we just ask
fish here
Bass just to build a schedule for an entire season around big fish?
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be fun. So there's your top 5 biggest swim baits to win. And the thing is, it kind of has gone away. It kind of came when they were going to Amistad and Clear Lake and these great big fish factories. And I cannot wait, because we know it's going to happen again. And I cannot wait for it to happen again.
I can't either. I'm a little confused by the list. I want you to specify, like, what was number 1?
Well, I don't know if a 8-inch HUD. I'm guessing an 8-inch HUD is bigger than an 8-inch Osprey in weight, and Oliver can probably.
Maybe. I mean, it just depends which sink rate you pick. A 16 is way heavier than a 5, and depending what style Osprey you got.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's within that same 2-ounce, 3-ounce range.
Yep.
They're
and then Faircloth's was unknown, but we do know it was big as 7 or 8 inches or more. So I never got this was just a top 5 and no order. But I would have thought the biggest profile being the 8-inch HUD for Steve Kennedy.
I got to chat with Steve at the Mega Bass booth at the Bassmaster Classic this past year about like that whole sequence, and man, that was cool. I wish I had a camera rolling for that one, because there's deeper sides to that story, and watching that dude light up, talking about big baits was cool. Like he's a junkie.
Well, and he won West Point on that 6-inch Bass Pro swim bait, and West Point's kind of close to the house. I grew up fishing it a lot. We don't fish a lot of tournaments there anymore, but back in the day we did when the Elite Series went there. And honestly, that 6-inch swim bait was a big bait at West Point. I mean, just to see him win that tournament on that was a big deal down here.
Junkie is a great word for it. He made the turn. Like once Steve discovered swim baits, it seemed like, oh my gosh, it was like every single tournament, no matter where, from Thousand Islands, New York to Mississippi and the Mississippi River, wherever, Steve was trying to make that swim bait work, and he did a lot. Well, that conversation must have been exceptional. I wish you did have a recording of it.
Yeah, it was special. But it's nice to have something like that just for myself once in a while.
That's
sorry,
true
boys.
Too. Yeah, that's true too. It's a little bit off topic, but that's one of my criticisms or critiques of MLF's style is you're not going to see those big baits. It's very, very unlikely that you're going to see, certain techniques over there. Kind of cuts that out. And that was
well.
I do
Kyrie Ward.
one side bait catch when Brandon Palaniuk was over there. He was still using his glide bait at times in that format. But I do remember one catch when he was fishing there a couple years ago.
Man, it's too bad you guys couldn't try getting him on tonight. That would have been really cool.
I should have thought of that. Darn
it. Would have been a great idea.
Well, MLF is now Big Five. So I think, technically we may see MLF in a different format throwing big cool. Baits, big swim baits. But I see one of our guys. He's absolutely recognizable, and I know he knows how to operate Zoom, which is awesome. And it's Dale, and man, you're wearing Bass U swag, and it's awesome to have you back on the show, man. What's going on?
Thanks, guys. It's amazing to be on here.
Dale, adjust your camera down a little bit. We're missing the bottom half of the beard.
Yo, that's wild, Dale. I'm still waiting for puberty, man. Like, I couldn't grow that much facial hair if my life depended on it. That's impressive.
Thanks. It's only been like a year and 2 months.
Come on.
I've literally probably never had that much facial hair in my entire lifetime.
That's it.
Dude, what kind of vitamins are you taking? That's impossible.
How
many swim baits you got hiding in there? Who needs a bait wrap?
Here's one.
Nice.
What was that? I couldn't see that. What was it?
No, it's just a bait I had with me. You guys sent
just
it.
a bait I had in my beard.
Just a bait in his
beard.
Yeah. There you go. just pulled it out of the beard with the bird's nest and all.
Man. I still can't connect. My sideburns don't connect to my chin. Patches.
That's crazy. And you're a man.
I saw your first pop up. You were wearing the.
I'm getting close to
I
that.
was gonna sneak it by and see if you guys could see it.
There's no way I would recognize you with.
And that was hey.
Do that again.
That's awesome. Dale, are you a swim bait guy?
No, I'm not, and that's why I got a question for Oliver and stuff. So
Talk to us. What do you got?
So you probably touched on it already, but I might have missed it. Like for starting out with these big swim baits, what would you suggest starting out with, and then especially, I'm from Jersey, so maybe would it be smaller or keep the same size? What would you start at?
Being that you're in Jersey, I would suggest you move.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding, boys. At least out in the month of January. You can come back when the fishing gets better.
No,
but
man, you get to say that.
I get to say that. I've been putting in work, son, and I shouldn't have nothing to show for it. But we went over a little bit of this for the Bass U piece that we were working on today. It's really good to build confidence and good mechanics by trying for a high level of engagement and numbers of engagement. So you want to throw a bait that you're going to get a lot of bites on and a lot of opportunities on, because you're probably going to muck a bunch of them. All right, so if you throw a smaller version of a bait, like we talked about last week, either both on Bass U here or on Ike Live, like a 6-inch version of a mag draft is going to get way more bites from just numbers of fish, because 2-pounders love eating that thing, as more so than an 8 or a 10-inch version of that bait. So just go out there, throw a smaller version, throw a smaller glide bait, throw a smaller jointed hard bait, just throw a smaller version of whatever style of big bait you really want to learn, and catch as many fish as you can on that style of bait, regardless of what size they are, because the mechanics and the techniques and execution is much the same. So if you skip the smaller stuff and try to just be an Instagram badass, like I see a lot of people trying to be right off the bat, and throwing these big baits without getting those high levels of engagement, man, number one, you're just beating yourself up. And then you're going to set yourself up for a potential disaster because you haven't had that many engagements on the bigger bait. You're probably going to screw that opportunity up instead of screwing up on a smaller 2 to 4 pounder. That's when you want to learn, right? Not when a Jersey 6 to 9 comes up and eats it.
Yeah.
That's when it hurts.
Got yeah. And then what you got? Like what knot you tying for that?
Oh, we talked about that too. My good old trusty trilene knot.
The trilene.
Yep, and we actually go over some subtle nuances on how I get that knot to cinch down, especially with that heavier diameter line.
Yeah. Okay.
So be excited for that one to come out. But it's strong enough, and I'm confident enough in it to where I've bounced a lot of fish over 10 pounds, more than most people would probably try.
Wow. Cool. And then go ahead.
No, Dale, please.
And Dale, just keep in mind, man, I've been hanging out with people from this area for years now that have successfully taken these concepts and these baits and gone out and caught fish, even in Jersey. So
wait a minute. Even in Jersey, I take offense to that. We've got a lot of good bass.
Well, I mean, the way you were talking about it the first night, Pete, you were just shooting it down like, oh man, this West Coast thing don't work out here. And Chesapeake Bay's got these big largemouth, but I'm not throwing that thing out. I'm like, so I mean, you're painting this picture.
Dude, you were telling me an 8-pounder is a minnow. You know, I mean, I had to fight back a little bit.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's pretty good.
Come on, Dale. Finish up your question. What were you saying?
Well, no, I was just gonna go into smallmouth. Are you downsizing, or are you keeping the same bait with that? You know,
that's a great question, Dale.
That's a great question. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna hold up this Defiant 210 here, and this is an 8 1/4 inch swim bait. Probably 2 to 3.5 ounces in weight, depending on the sink rate. Would you think this is too big for a smallmouth bass?
No, I mean, they eat anything.
Man, see, you're a smarter man than some people I've come across. So I have actually caught multiple smallies on this bait. My girlfriend who's sitting here has actually caught her personal best on a Defiant 210. So, and that fish had this entire thing in its mouth. Like they can swallow an 8-inch bait because that's what those bigger apex predators that are big giant smallmouth are eating a lot of times. They're big prey items. So
cool.
It happens. I seen it.
I seen it.
That's great. I see. That's weird because like I use the 6-inch. I'm like a lot of guys go down to the 2.8s and the little swim baits for smallmouth, and I've been using the 6-inch hollow bellies and bass tricks.
You
and,
have, Pete.
The bigger size stuff. And I mean I get them smallmouth. I love to fish it high in the water column. We talked about that today, Oliver, how you burn them, and I do that a lot. I get those fish to come up, you know, from 20 feet of water, and hit those bigger. But what I got, you know, my eyes are opened a little bit today because, you know, I'm throwing what I think is on the highest end of the spectrum. And man, there's a whole nother level to graduate to, you know.
Oh, your bodies of water that I've seen are infiltrated with big prey opportunities. Gizzard shad, crappie, the right size.
Yellow perch.
Carps.
Carps.
Carp. That's fascinating conversation about the carp because you said that you don't see them that small, and I never see small to medium sized carp ever. You see them when they're 20 to 40 pounds, or you see the little tiny babies, and you never see them in between. And you're figuring that that's because they're bass food.
Wow, that's super interesting and intriguing to me, Pete, and it should be for Pete and anybody from this area as well. All those goldfish, those gold carp that we have on the Chesapeake that you see swimming around all summer long looking like a lightning bulb. I mean, is there an orange swim bait out there? Because there might be.
I've seen those too. So here's a fun fact. I got to tour the
I don't know what size they start to turn that orange, like that true gold color, but you know, like these things, they look like a traffic cone swimming along.
That's accurate. Yeah, looks like your banner at the bottom of the screen.
That's right.
But here's a fun fact. I got to tour the Texas Department of Fish and Wildlife's Share Lunker Program grow-out facility, where they literally encourage their anglers to catch fish 13 pounds or bigger, report them. They will travel to anywhere in Texas with a truck, a Toyota, mind you, with this crazy transport tank, and send somebody to come get your fish. They will take it back to their facility, breed it with other pure genetic Florida strain fish on this crazy program. And it's all to build more and bigger bass for their fisheries. It's an insane program, and I wish every state would adopt a similar program, or at least try as hard.
I mean, let me just say.
They are trying.
Like, for where I live, to hear that, that's awesome. I'm impressed. I'm also infuriated.
Yeah, dude, California is
oh my
right there
God,
with you guys.
We can't even get a boat ramp. You know what I mean?
I've seen that too.
Jeez, we're launching off a dirt down here, and
But fun fact, while I was
touring,
touring,
we do pay for fishing licenses. Where the hell is that shit?
Hey, mind you, when I ordered my fishing license for Jersey, I had to make sure I signed off on my child support.
That's right. They want that
obligations. That was pretty interesting. So shout out to Jersey.
Yeah, shout out
to
Jersey.
But back to the fun fact about that facility and that program. I asked them, "What are you guys feeding these big fish while you got them in your possession?"
Yeah.
It was carp.
No.
Yep.
Is that right?
How
about that?
It's crazy. Oliver, I toured that facility, or one of their facilities as well, and they have entire pools dedicated to breeding carp for feeding, and they net them. When I was there, they netted them up and they threw them into the bass ponds, and we watched 8 to 15 pounders come up and just just unload on those carp. But that's it. They use those as feeder baits.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
But think about it. The chances of them choking on it, like you've seen throughout your fishing career, these big bass floating on the surface, choking on another bass, choking on a bluegill, on a red ear, on a crappie, they're drastically lower because there's just no spines on a carp.
All right. Easiest thing to eat. It's we see the carp spawn, and I know that the carp spawn, they drop all
In
their
mass.
eggs. Yeah, and they all the predators come in and feed on the carp eggs, and the bass predate on everything coming in to feed on the eggs. But yeah, that the carp of the year, there must be millions and millions of them.
Totally.
And who knows where they live? I guess they live in the belly of 8 and 10 pound bass,
Or even a 2-pound bass, probably.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
but it's interesting stuff, and Dale, thanks, man. Thanks for being part of the program.
We got 2 more people sitting in the Zoom. Dale, everybody wants to know what are your future plans with that beard? Where are we taking this stuff?
Hey, until I could get famous, I don't know.
All right,
you're bass you famous.
Yeah, it seems like about another year and a half, it'll be down to your waist.
Yeah, we'll see if the wife lets that. I don't know.
Dale, next time you come on, I want to see that thing in cornrows. I want to see designs. Like, I want it to look like the cover of a Nelly album in like 2006.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It'll be the Dale album.
Yeah. Tell him, Dale.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, Dale.
Great question, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's awesome. Great having him part of the program. I noticed something about you, Oliver, that I thought was pretty cool, and you kind of brought him up because he's one of my favorites, and he's old school, is Al Linder, and you mentioned him, and said that he's one of the first scientific anglers, and you liken yourself that way to being an analytic, scientific type angler, and I hear it. You talk about engagement, like bass engagement. It's terms I've not heard before. You mentioned a term the other night on the show, like it was fish that aren't bass. You called them like bio secondary. I don't know the term you used, but I hadn't heard it used before.
I remember Essox.
I'm just trying to suck less at life and fishing as much as possible.
Use big words.
Use big words.
I like egregious. Go with that.
I mean, I've got all you guys fooled so far, so here I am, third time in a row.
Well, you're very analytical about it. Has that been an important part of you? Developing all these things?
Yeah, 1,000%. Why continue to make the same mistakes? It doesn't make sense to me.
Do you keep notes? Do you?
I used
to.
What
do you do?
I used to, but it just became so tedious and overwhelming, and those spreadsheets were just kind of, a lot of it was redundant. And now I just kind of rely on this gut that's been built off of experience. And it's crazy because I've probably forgotten things, which is why I enjoy working with guys like you and getting to revisit this stuff on a deeper level, because it's a refresher for me as well.
I agree. I've always said that when having to teach somebody about something, like you said, it refreshes your memory, but it just reinforces the things and it makes you think of things that you forgot about. Like, just like you said, I really don't know why I cast the swim bait this way until somebody asked me. And then I got to look at, how I'm managing the rod, reel, and line. And, it helps you become a better angler. I think it's helped me a lot by teaching,
Agreed. No, I've learned a ton by having to teach someone that doesn't have the experience or mechanics that I have built over the years. And it makes me hyper-focus as an instructor to help somebody that doesn't have those tools to try and catch the biggest fish of their life. So it keeps me sharp. So thank you, everybody that's come on Dream Machines over the years and let me help you chase those fish. And all you guys that are tuning in now trying to do the same.
Awesome, man. And I see another Zoom caller coming in, connecting to audio right now. He's along the lines of the Brandon Palaniuk School. Wait a minute. No,
we got him.
This is the Dale School of Zoom
man,
operation.
You guys must be just letting anybody on this stream now.
You know this guy, Oliver? Who are we talking to?
What's up, AJ Pete?
What's going on, guys? How we doing? All right?
Man, we're doing awesome.
Am I a little too loud for you guys? You guys all right? You guys okay?
You're good.
Sure, you call me now, but the other day you guys are sitting down having the regatta board and all that other stuff. The fat guys special stuff. You guys eating away, big pasta dreams. I'm sitting over here with the meat sweats, watching you guys. Oh, you guys are killing me. What's going on, guys? How we all doing?
We're doing good, man. We're recovering from Brandon. We got stood up at the altar by Brandon, but we're hanging in there, man.
Yeah.
He showed up. He ran out, but he did show up.
Runaway bride.
Yeah.
I did hear him. It sounded like he was tumbling down an electric organ. Like, so it was pretty interesting watching him coming in and out. But that's okay. We'll take whatever we can. But that was some great stuff, some comedy. I love the dead air also, just like Pete. He was like, I love the dead air. I love the dead air too.
Stresses
Makes for
me
good
out,
conversation. Man. Oh my God, unreal! But it's great. It's
now that you're on, we have no dead air, man. Until
I love talking with you guys.
Spoke too soon.
Yeah, that's right. Until you get me on, that's it. It's all dead air now. You just lost. The numbers went down horribly. They're back down to like 3 people.
Man, we're loving it. You don't,
that's
but
right.
you don't sound. You don't sound like
Pete,
you're
I
a West
seen you in a
Coaster,
long
man.
time.
You're from the East Coast.
What gave you that idea?
Yeah,
I'm a New Jersey guy. Yeah. What gave that away? The whole accent and everything else. It's funny. I got a lot of guys on Instagram say that all the time. BC Blasters. Shout out to him. He says it all the time. He goes, "Hey, bro, you sound like a Jersey guy. I can totally tell. Or New York. I want to come try your pizza." So it's good stuff.
Don't try their January fishing.
Nah, skip that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Forget about it. It's crazy. It's crazy here right now.
Unless you're Justin
the whole
Crowley.
season. Well, that's
that guy can catch
a whole other
anything,
animal
anywhere.
altogether.
He can catch me.
Yeah. Oh, he's a whole nother animal. Pete knows him. Pete met up with him one time, saw him in the Hudson River. And so Justin, you remember brother Justin Pirelli? You were guiding a guy in the Hudson.
Yeah.
And he was rocking up some big weights that day, years back.
I love the Hudson River. I wish they would lighten up that 15-inch limit, bring it back to 12-inch limit so that we could bring tournaments back to the Hudson. It's one of my favorite places
absolutely.
of all time. I hope they do that. I saw some, some signature pages coming through, guys trying to appeal to New York State, trying to get that open back up. I hope they do.
Wow. Hey, Pete, here's a question. You obviously have a history on the Hudson River.
Absolutely.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry. Here's a question for you, Pete. With your experience on the Hudson River, is that a body of water you would throw a 10-inch glide bait, for example, on?
I never have. I throw, I throw big baits there, though. I don't often finesse fish when I fish the Hudson. I go big. I've never gone that big, but back in the day, like Roland Martin went there with the big Okeechobee spinnerbait with the oversized blades, those big giant blades. I don't even know what number they are, but you can't even buy them these days. But he used that bait to win there like 100 years ago. They got big largemouth and they've got big smallmouth on that body of water.
Super sick.
Yes, they do.
Aaron, would you mind sharing with everybody your story on the Hudson, the very first time you saw your brother fishing an ice slide 262 after he watched me catch one in New Jersey?
Yeah, absolutely. That was probably one of the most, and it's funny because Oliver goes back with saying how, you can't just get into this. You really got to get in depth with learning the bait, with the cadences, the rods, the reels, all that stuff. And being a little bit underprepared with that kind of technique, watching Justin the one day after he comes back from fishing with Oliver, he doesn't have the right tackle. He doesn't really have the right line, the right rod, the right reel, but he's still throwing it out there with the best gear that he has,
And be real with them. Don't filter yourself because you're on public air. Like, you guys bust each other's balls a lot, right? You guys are talking trash to each other. You guys are brothers.
Oh, I'll be honest. I was like, you ain't gonna. I mean, I don't want to say the S word or anything on this. If we were on Ike Live, I think we could drop it, but I don't want to drop it here, right? So, so I'm sitting there, I'm looking at him. He pulls this thing out, and if you've ever seen the box, the box that comes with 262T literally looks like you can have a bottle of wine. It looks like it looks like a gigantic thing, like Dom Perignon coming out. And I looked at him and I was like, "What the hell is that shit?" Like, there's no way you're gonna catch a single fish on that. You might as well put that thing away. He's like, "Dude, bro, I'm telling you, you really got to give it a try." I'm not kidding. He's like, "I watched Oliver stick 3 with this thing." So I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Oh, okay, no problem." So he starts throwing it out there, and every time it hit the water, it sounded like a London broil getting thrown out of a 3rd floor window. Just hitting the water. Bang! I'm laughing hysterically.
A London broil is a big-ass piece of meat, by the way.
Crazy. I'm holding my chest laughing. There's guys on the bank laughing. Like, oh, my God, look at that. And I'm looking at them like, yeah, I know. You believe this guy? This guy sucks. So they're throwing that. I'm throwing it. I'm watching him throw it. And every time he throws, I just keep laughing. I can't believe that he's actually using this thing. Within, I don't know, I would say 10 minutes at least, all I hear is, get the net. And I'm like, no. And he's like, dude, get the net. I'm serious. I'm thinking maybe a rog or a log or something. Carp, definitely a drum or a striper being in the Hudson.
Yeah,
a striper, at least a striper. So I'm entertaining this theory. I go get the net, I come running over. I'm like, yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see, get the big drum. Here we go. The body of it rised up and came up on its side, and all I saw was that lateral line going down the fish, and it looked like a 13-gallon garbage container size fish. It was just enormous. And I netted that into the boat, and that fish was over 8 something, 8.2 or 8.3 on the 262T. And for the rest of that day, the ride home, the whole nighttime, I literally jarred his head with everything that I kept on asking. What did Oliver say? What did he say with this? How do you do the cadences? What is it about the twitching? And then the key word that he told me was, think of it as a jerkbait. And I'm 100% a jerkbait fisherman. I love jerkbait fishing. And the fact that I was able to use cadences and stuff like that with the jerkbait, I got spoiled out of the gate early watching the first fish be an 8-pound fish. If I didn't see that, it would have took me a while to convince me. But on the way home, I'm looking up YouTube videos of Oliver. I'm looking at big bass stream stuff, photos. I'm going searching through the galleries. And then I start seeing other guys with big baits and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, this is really a huge thing. We can get away with this. Look at all these different techniques. So it's a wide open range of things that you can do with it, which is absolutely amazing. And you gain the confidence real quick when you catch a fish on a swim bait in New Jersey, because we've taken it from Jersey to Connecticut to New York.
Is 8 pounds good up here?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. For up here, absolutely. Absolutely. Up here.
Bigger than a London broil.
Yeah. Yeah, an 8 pounder is a special fish anywhere, even in California and Texas. So don't get it twisted.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Did you get to see that hit the water, Pete, or no? The 262 T?
Did you throw that one?
No, not today. I think the biggest bait I threw was either a 247 Defiant or a Gancraft 230. I actually left my whole collection of big baits over here in the studio.
That's where they are.
Not the whole collection, obviously, but
yeah, they are. They've been hanging out.
Yeah, they've been hanging.
I'm surprised there's not like you don't have like a guard with them or something. They're
It's a test of character.
With Ike and Ellie, you saw that collection, right?
Seen it. It's wild.
Yeah, he's a hoarder. you better weigh them boxes before you go.
He threw some big baits. He threw some big baits with us today, and they were quite impressive. And it's going to be really interesting to for people to watch what Oliver taught today. It's fascinating stuff. Like I said, it opened my eyes. An 8 pounder on the Hudson. I mean, I don't know that I've ever heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's big fish there, lots of 5s and 6s,
multiple 6s and 7s.
You'll see weighed in, but a 7 is extremely rare, and an 8 never. I've never seen one of those up on the Hudson. That's so far north.
Well, you've heard of one now.
Yeah,
we have.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Aaron, I got a question for you.
Absolutely. Please
do you and your brother ever go out to Merrill Creek?
Yes, we do. I haven't been out there in a long, long time, but yes.
How come?
With me, for me, it's a personal issue with the travel, with anxiety and everything.
Okay.
But
is it far for you?
Justin goes. No, it's about an hour away. But when I was able to go, when I was doing good and feeling all right, that place is just an absolute incredible paradise if you really start throwing, swim baits and glides, and you want to get a chance of that gigantic largemouth. That's a good place to start, because we've caught 6s, plenty of largemouth 6s on Merrill. So.
Yeah, well, let me temper that a little bit for anyone listening. It's actually not really good. It's kind of brutally tough. And there are some big ones, but please just go somewhere where it's easier. Save yourselves.
Right.
We were on fishing today on the bank. On the bank, there was a guy wondering why a truck and boat from California was fishing in New Jersey because of the amazing fishing here. And he was on the bank. He came down to where we were at today, which is a sand wash down in southern New Jersey, and he was like, if I come here, the only reason I'm here is because the lake I wanted to go to was ice covered. This was open. He goes, if I get any bites here at all, I'm happy. And but he recommended that we pack our stuff up and we go up the Round Valley Reservoir and fish. And that's where the good fish.
Gigantic trout.
Yeah, the Lakers.
That he was talking about the Lakers.
Yeah. Was he talking about the Lakers?
Yeah.
Yep, the trout.
Not my Lakers.
Get into that trout pattern. You're gonna.
Yeah, I was thinking last time I've been to Round Valley,
trout.
It was incredibly difficult bass fishing up there.
It is. It's very brutal.
Yeah.
It's like crystal clear, super deep. They've got the ones, 100%.
That's it.
Might need live bait.
Very deep.
Is that legal here?
Yeah, but no, seriously, a big bait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it just hasn't been done right. Hey, Aaron, thanks, buddy. We've been at this for 2 hours. We got a couple more guests in the Zoom, some prizes to give away.
Absolutely.
Let's start.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ron, appreciate you, bro.
Thanks,
impeccable taste in headwear.
Hey, no problem, guys.
Thank you,
glad
man.
and appreciate having me on, and you guys do an amazing job. And it's always so incredible to watch you guys to give back, and it's great. So I really appreciate being part of it. So I hope you guys, hope you guys do a great job and have a great show. Thank you. You too. I just wanted to show you something real quick. If you don't think baits work in Jersey, glide baits, why don't you look at that wall going down?
Dang, son, blow that up real quick, producer. Let them see it. You're in shock.
Yeah. It's all the way down. Going.
What's up, Rizzo?
Oh, hold on. All the way down the end.
So what are
Pan
these?
slower,
Are these
Aaron. Do it again.
Are these hand carved? Are these your baits? Are these hand painted? What's going on over there?
Those are the Megabass 185 eye slides. Those are the Depths 175s, Huddlestons, Mag Drefts.
Turn your camera around on that one more time.
Oh,
pan on it real slow.
Absolutely.
Let them see it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to let them see it.
Okay.
Let them see it.
There's from that side right there.
Slow down. Pause.
Starting, you got the Huddlestons and whatnot. Then you got some Twitch Ninjas. Oop. Oh,
wow.
You get that. Then you have the eye slides. Then you have the. Let me squeeze in here. Can you see the Gan Crafts with the blue line on it?
I see the blue line.
Those are the
They're hiding.
And then behind all those rods are another like 12 that are all kinds of depths 175s and stuff. And then you got the rest of them.
Yeah, what's your address?
Well,
The message board wants to know what your address is. And do you have a big dog?
The funny thing is, this board is, everyone goes, oh, you're a collector. They're there because the one hanging up, every single one of those have caught a fish.
Tell them.
So
tell them, Aaron.
Fish on every single one of those baits. And when I want to go out to the certain lake I'm going to match that pattern again, I'll take the certain color that I remember for that day and work that color again with that pattern condition that was going, depending on what it is, whether it be a Megabass Eye Slide 185 or a Depths 175. You know, if I want that twitching motion like a jerk bait, I'm going to go with the Megabass, the one Megabass Eye Slide 185. I want the side and side glide, just going in and out of docks and cover and wood. And that's when I want the Depths 175. So it's more of a search tool for me, as well as it is for confidence bait for throwing it out there and catching a big fish. When I throw that under a dock and I skip it, like I mean business, and I'm going after a fish. And if he comes out and I can't get him to commit, at least I know he's there, and I follow it up with follow-up bait like a jig or pitching a plastic, because he just showed himself. He gave away his biggest thing was hiding. Now I know that he's there because he was drawn to that. Now I can go get him.
Well, my phone number's in your DMs. I'll see you in 2 months.
That's awesome. Looking forward to it. Love it, guys.
Bro.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, can't wait to have you up here. I'll tell you right now, Candlewood's where you guys should be right now. Ooh. That's the juice right now. If you guys want to go up and hit that, that's a good ride. Guys, go up there. You'll have some fun getting some baits out there in the water. I keep seeing guys posting, pictures of giant smallmouth and giant largemouth. So
hey, side note, I have thrown big baits on Candlewood with Justin, and by far the most ambitious and ferocious packs of marauding bluegill I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap! If I could go back with a strike indicator and some smaller offerings, I would have a blast. Yeah. But Jersey represent, man. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, bud.
It's a legit thing, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Good luck to every one of you guys this year. Stay safe.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Thanks for calling in.
You got
what a deal! Look at all these big giant swim baits.
It's so dope for me, guys, to see guys go through that whole evolution as an angler, going from laughing and criticizing his brother to being an incredible swim bait angler in his own right.
No doubt.
I got
the enthusiasm is amazing. That's awesome stuff. JK, what do you got?
Man, I got a question answered from Brandon Palaniuk. I couldn't stand it, so I had to text him, and he texted me back. So I'm just going to go at least and give a little piece away. I had to know how many big bait fish he weighed in 2020 on the tour. He said between the elites and the opens that he fished, he weighed in more than 10 bass on the big bait, and most of them were on his glide bait.
There we go.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. Only one of them came in one of his wins, and that was that one kicker at Champlain.
On the way back to the ramp. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm imagining they were probably higher caliber fish.
I reckon.
That's good. Good question.
Yeah.
Good question, JK. I see another Zoom aficionado sideways talking to us.
Leave it there.
Is that me?
Yes.
That's you, my friend.
No.
Unlock your phone, buddy, or turn it up right.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll turn it. Oh, I gotta do it the other way. That's not.
There you go.
That worked.
Works.
That worked just fine. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sam. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Hey, man, is Candlewood Lake open?
I'm about an hour north of it. I've been seeing Alex Weatherall fishes the opens. He's been getting some open water fish, but I bet it's starting to lock up.
Yeah, it's got to be getting close. It is deep, so it's likely it may stay open later. But nonetheless, Sam, it's good to have you with us, buddy. Man, what you want to talk swim baits with us tonight?
I'm actually in the basement making ice baits right now, so I didn't know how this worked. Whether there'd be someone talking to me before I was on, so sorry about that.
Nah, you're giving me too much credit, man. I'm not producing.
So I got a few little ice baits I'm working on, but I wanted to ask Oliver. So I started fishing some swim baits this year, mostly doing glide baits because that's what I had success on early. And I've been wondering, when do you throw? So I have a bunch of swim baits now because once you get a few good bites on the glide bait, you end up buying a bunch. And I never pick up the swim baits because the glide bait's done all right by me. I'm wondering how you make that call when you use a glide bait over a swim bait.
Like a soft plastic swim bait versus a hard glide bait.
Even a hard swim bait like a BBZ, like any of the jointed swim baits, one that doesn't have the one joint and just glide back and forth. When do you pick one that has more of a? Is it all just trial and error? Are there any conditions that lead you to use one more than the other?
Man, I hate to do this to you too, but yes and yes. Like, if you guys look at the archives of footage where I'm catching on whatever bait, what's a common theme? Look at the cluster of the deck of my boats. I literally have probably 7 to 10 rods, all big baits, at the go, at the ready, and I just cycle through and let those fish determine whether or not I should put something down and try something else because I'm not getting anything to engage with it, not getting anything to bite it, not getting anything to follow it. It's strange. On the same bodies of water in similar conditions, I talked to you guys about this wild 7-week stretch. I literally had to figure out how to recatch these fish every single day. Never did that same bait repeat itself on back-to-back days or in back-to-back locations. So that really cemented in my head that I just have to keep cycling through and going through that process of elimination and letting those fish determine when or how long I should stick with a certain style of bait, whether it's a glide, whether it's a lipless multi-piece hard bait, whether it's a soft bait with a boot tail, if it's a soft bait with, et cetera, because I've seen it work in all of it, and I've seen it work in none of it.
I guess my other question would be, being new to this scene, and I followed it a little with like the past bunch of years, but I never really got into it. It seems like glide bait is like is it newer to have the single joint? Like, are the glide baits later to the market than the jointed swim baits? And is that why they're kind of getting a little more?
They're definitely hot right now. Like the hype is there on the glide bait. It's been there since I was introduced to it 9 years ago now. But we gave a little bit of a history lesson on the Bass U piece on fishing hard glide baits today that I'm excited for you guys to see. But it goes all the way back to the mid-90s in Japan. And guys are taking the second generation Castaic hard trouts with busted bills. What was that wake bait now? Look at it in its simple form. It resembles a lot of these one joint gliders. So those guys figured out if they just straight wind a lipless, but probably busted off plastic bill on a wake bait, it would do this interesting slalom motion. And wham, you got a whole new genre of hard baits. So they've been around.
I got one more question for Pete. What are you doing for opens this year? I know it's sign-up time for if you're doing all of them. And then did you sign up for all 9 like you were saying?
I signed up for the Northern Opens this year.
All right.
I will be participating in the James River, Lake Oneida, and Champlain out of Clayton, New York. So Yeah, I'm going to fish the opens this year. Oliver and I will be in those tournaments together this year.
Yeah, and Pete was super hyped to be fishing this year. So I hope you guys appreciate the sacrifice that he's put in building this incredible platform and this whole school for you guys to learn from, because it's been at the detriment of his fishing opportunities. So I'm hyped for you, man.
I appreciate that, and I was talking about it today. Didn't fish much in 2020, and fished one FLW tournament, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get back and fish the trail and fish other things too. I'm looking at a lot of things that are regional this year that I'm going to participate in. So looking forward to getting back out on the water though. What are you fishing, Sam? Are you going to be in?
I'm doing the co-angler ones, but I saw that Eastern Open. Right, I'm going to do Eastern. I usually fly down to Florida, meet my brother for one to start, and
nice
one
place
season
to start.
for. But I usually do that first Florida one. This one, with work and everything, and all this crap going on, gonna cancel that one and do Oneida and the St. Lawrence, both places I love. But the first one for Eastern is James River, right?
That's right.
And you had a great day there last time, right? I remember, right?
I led that tournament one of the years. I've had a few good finishes down there, but I haven't pulled the trigger on the win, but it's my style. It's a Chesapeake Bay fishery. It's tidal. I like it down there. I feel comfortable. So they eat a Senko. You know what? I don't know that I've ever weighed a fish in on a Senko down there.
Ooh,
But I might.
take that one, BTC.
Damn, Pete, you get a gift card. You win, Pete.
Nice, man. Oh man, I love it.
I'm gonna be throwing big swim baits. Strain live on the James River, so it's a unique species of this far north. So it's kind of cool, can be frustrating, but looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great year. You should come down, Sam. Come down and fish that one too.
I would like to. I will say, to be. I didn't even think I mentioned this, but to be candid, the whole not fishing the final day, and if you make it, that's co-anglers. And I get it from the pro side; it makes perfect sense. But that did de-incentivize me a little bit. It actually incentivized me on the other two, because I'm like, I work on the weekends. I run a restaurant, and I won't miss those 2 days of work because there's no final day for me. But so James River, just a little further. As I said, I'm an hour north of Candlewood, so I fished the Hudson a ton this year.
You're closer than I am.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I also can't recommend those enough to people who have not tried doing any opens. I don't care which side you're on, but fishing those as a co-angler, if you're here trying to learn and you want to take it to the next step, the people I've met and the things that I've learned are, really second to none, much like Bass U.
For sure, man.
I hope I draw you.
Yeah. I'll learn. Definitely. I'll be ready to learn. I go to them definitely with the right intent, first to learn. And, I've said the best results I've had when I'm there to learn and not to
show up the pro.
Yeah. And you know what? I've been able to influence my pro to do something he wasn't thinking of by thinking outside the box and doing something different that neither of us would have been doing if I was trying to get on his bite. It's just not the fish doesn't need to see two of the same presentations. It needs to see something else from the back of the boat. So
it's great. It's great when the co's work together. I tell you, been fortunate enough to win a few of these, and I mean, a lot of the time the co's have helped tremendously in that winning effort, whether it's a bait choice or whatever has taken place, transpired, location switches or something like that. So it's been fun when that works. It's amazing.
Yeah, big shout out to all the co's, man.
Yeah,
I talked to your co, Pete, because we both made the final day at Oneida, and he had actually gone and practiced in his own boat with his brother. He does a similar thing where they travel to get they meet. They don't live in the same area, just like my brother and I, and they meet up, and these are their big weekends, and they actually take a week and bring their boat. And he had nothing but great things to say about you as well.
No, I think I know you. I know who you're talking about, and they found some good fish. It didn't work out for us that day, but it was odd because this is the weird thing that happens, and it happened for me at night. Is we went to an area where him and his brother had caught them real good, and it didn't quite work out for us there. But when we got there, I decided to just pull an audible and fish where we were at, and I caught one of the best bags of the day.
Wow.
Just doing that, and you never know the way the wind's going to come your way, and you got to be open to things. But yeah, he was a great partner. That's awesome that you guys met. He made the finals. That was pretty.
Yeah.
One of the it's probably sometime within the next 50 years I'll make the finals at Oneida. Hopefully sooner than later, but but that's awesome, Sam. I can't wait. I look forward to seeing you there in Thousand Islands too.
I will say hello.
Sam, congratulations.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Sam, congratulations. You won yourself a $25 Gills gift card tonight.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Be sure to hit me in the message board with your subscriber number and your email so that we can get that emailed over to you.
Sounds good. And I'll buy you guys at least that much, as I've heard another call and say, in beer when I see you guys.
I'm in.
Very nice. Very nice.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
That.
BTC, we got to get you out at some of these tournaments.
Yeah, I'm there. Hey, just a reminder, we have a Facebook like and share for a Defiant 210 swim bait. Go ahead. Show it off.
I shared.
What's that, a $60 swim bait?
Yes, sir. $60 retail.
Look at that thing, dude. That thing's beautiful.
Incredible value.
Yeah. It is an incredible value.
They
So we've
look
got a
good in the
Facebook like
water
and share,
today.
guys. There's still a little more time. We're about ready to wrap this up. I've got one more Zoom guest. Any questions? We've got that. And then we've got our grand prize giveaway, which is coming up shortly. And it's pretty much everything on the table, minus that Defiant products from TH and Flambeau and Rapala, missile baits, etc. Hummingbird. A hat.
What did you try to pocket over there, Oliver? Would you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So yeah, let's. We got a sideways guy. There we go.
Giveaway, which is coming up shortly, and it's pretty much.
That looks like Mike Reed, Alabama Mike Reed, that lives in Texas.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going good, man. You're sideways, but it's
Am
good
I
to see you.
sideways for you? Because you're sideways for me. There we go. Is that better?
That's better. That's better. I didn't expect you, man. You're wearing a Real Snot sweatshirt.
Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out to Real Snot. What's going on?
Nighttime. It's bedtime right now. Good night, buddy. Go ahead.
Dream big.
Mike Jr.
See what I did there?
He wants me to night him. So we have to make it quick.
What do you got for us, Mike?
Nothing. I'm just really surprised.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you calling. It's 9:30 Eastern. Great contribution to the program.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I love this Luby part of the show.
I know.
Mike Reed, epiphany of winter 2020.
Palaniuk actually got a connection up in Idaho with their one cell phone tower,
Well, you have one there. We saw you. Was that your son that was with you with that monster bass that you caught over the holidays?
That was, yes.
How big was that fish?
That was a 9-1.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, part of a, and it's crazy too. And Oliver, he might get a kick out of this story, but I'm not a big swim bait fisherman. I do like throwing a swim bait quite a bit, but I typically stick to the 6-inch, 7-inch type baits and below. Most of my situations are tournament type situations. But it was the day after Christmas, and we're fishing this big, long ditch that winds through this big flat. And it's a typical big fish area. I mean, I catch giant stringers here this time of year. And I took my father-in-law, which he's from New York, and he's never been on a bass boat before.
Yankee.
I know, right? He's from Brooklyn, and he's never been on a bass boat before. So I got him, I got my 4-year-old, and I take him up, and we go up into this area. And I'm just hoping to get him on some crappie or something. And I actually gave my father-in-law a Ned rig, and I'm like, just drag this. Don't move it. Don't touch it. Just drag it behind the boat, and you'll catch something, you know? And we fished for about 2 hours and only caught 2 little rats. And I'm just like, I know these fish are here. I don't know what's going on. And I just got live scope. So I'm still kind of learning, dialing that in. And I started looking on my live scope, and I could see these pods of crappie that I believed were crappie, right? Yeah. And I had a little 2.8 swim bait tied on.
Okay.
And I started bombing this 2.8 out there, and I'm watching it go down, and I'm reeling it through these schools, and you know, and I started catching several crappie, and the pods might only had 20 to 30 crappie in them. And you would catch 1 to 2 crappie, and then that would be it. They would scatter, and then you would just have to troll through the ditch. And then you could relocate them, and then you could catch another one. So I started doing this, and I'm just happy to get a bite, right? Because it kind of sucks right now. It was cold, but it was kind of calm and sunny. And I got to the end of this little ditch area, had a bend in it, and I threw up there, and I caught a 4-pounder. And I'm like, I was like, I got something for their butt, because there's no bait in this area other than crappie. I mean, you can see it. There's no other bait in the area, but I know big fish live here. And I put a 5.8 on. And I just had a 1/2 ounce J-Wheel head. And I started bombing this 5.8 out there on a 1/2 ounce, and I'm watching it get, right below the crappie, and I'm reeling this thing back. And I started stroking them. I caught 30 fish in the next 2 hours, and I caught a 5.5. I caught another one that was in the 6-pound class. And then I kind of get up to the other end of this ditch, and my fishing partner, he knows that same area. He came in there, and I told him I caught some crappie earlier in this one stretch, and he was sitting there fishing. And we decided to leave. I already caught, 25, 30 fish. And we start trolling our way out of there, and I'm sitting here talking to my old fishing partner, Ron, and I'm looking on my live scope, and I can see he's on the biggest school of crappie in the whole ditch, So I'm just sitting there talking to him like, hey, how's it going? And he reeled in a crappie. Well, as soon as he reeled in and got his line out of the way, I bombed that swim bait out there, and I just kind of let it go down. Made about 3 cranks on it, set back on one, and I actually lost it. It was another fish in the 6-pound class. And I'm just dialed at this point. And I'm like, Ron, you are not going to believe what I'm on. I'm like, they're eating these crappie like crazy.
Yeah.
And, there's no other bait here. There's nothing else for them to eat. I can't catch them flipping in the grass or anything. So, he catches like a 10-inch crappie, and he goes to measure it, and I make a cast about 15 feet in front of his trolling motor. And I let that thing go down but below that school of crappie, and I'm just start doop, 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 and one just donkey stomps it. And yeah, and then she came up and jumped like right in front of his trolling motor, like right in his face, Then it was
That's
a 9.
Better.
What? It was a 9?
Yeah.
And surprisingly, he's still my fishing partner.
Wow.
That's cool, man. That's a cool story. And I definitely appreciate that story. And if you guys have been following me at all, you see that I love catching those big crappie. And that usually kind of happens on accident. I'm actually purposely trying to be around those crappie for those same reasons that you just described.
Yeah.
Those big largemouth love eating crappie. They love it. And if I'm around those crappie, I feel pretty confident a lot of times that there's going to be some largemouth in the area. But then I just can't help myself, man. And seeing them in clouds on that live scope, and I'm just like, screw it. I got to catch these things. And then when they're like 13, 14, 15, 16-inch crappie, it just makes for a good time. But I'm usually around those crappie on purpose.
Yeah.
Because that scenario that you just described.
They eat them.
Yeah.
Big bass love a crappie.
Yeah, there's a video of Hackney, right? Isn't there a video of Hackney catching crappie and catches like a 10-pounder?
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It ate his crappie. It ate his crappie.
It ate that crappie.
But you know what's crazy, Oliver? Like, I couldn't see any of these bass at all on live scope. The only thing I could see were these pods of crappie.
But they were around them.
Yeah. I don't know where they were, but they were out there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Well, it's cool that you're learning that technology, and it was awesome to see those pics, Mike. And we are going to be down to see you in June. I hope you can be there with us at the Classic this year.
Oh, I'll be there.
Awesome.
Yes, Pete, get your vaccination because we're going, dude. I'm dragging you.
Yeah, Pete, you need to allocate a few extra days of travel for a couple of the guys. So.
Oh yeah.
Yes. This is the year, Mike. I've been promised. People have been inviting me fishing. I'm taking a page out of Oliver's book, man. I'm going fishing this year.
Go fishing, man. It's dope.
Yeah.
I know. I miss it. I want to go fishing in Texas and Florida, California. Maybe I'll come out and see you in California sometime. I would love it, Oliver. Come out there and see those lakes and chunk those giant swim baits around. That'd be
I'll make sure we choose the worst time.
Pay
it in kind.
That's
right.
Bitch.
And he ain't feed you.
Yeah, no food. No, to be fair, Pete tried to make us stop and eat.
Bait your own hook. But yes,
what did
Pete,
you bring
like
for lunch,
our
Brian? Did you bring like hoagies in the boat? What did you bring?
What's that?
Did you bring like hoagies in the boat or cheesesteaks?
No, he didn't feed us either. We were late for the tournament by like an hour.
Now you see. Now hold on. That's good. We might as well tell a little bit. We can tell a little bit.
Sure. Story time. BTC.
All right, real quick because I know it's late. So I said, be at my house at 6:15 at the latest, right? Because it's going to take us 45. He got there at 6:15, but we had a power pole or a Talon.
Gremlins, man.
Yeah, gremlins.
Old boats, new boats.
Yep. So the Gremlin, the Talon needed to be bolted down. I'm like, dude, we need everything on the clock to get there on time. He's like, well, we got to do it. I can't drive. I was like, all right. So it takes us 15 minutes about to get this thing bolted on. And I was, well, we're going to be late. I said, we're going to be late. Should we get coffee? He's like, nah, we're just going. All right, no problem. So we got to the boat ramp at 7:15. I called the guy. Says, hey, we're going to be late, but we're going to launch anyhow. They're like, yeah, no problem. We got there, put the boat in the water, attempted to. The ramp was completely iced.
Did you guys see his Insta story?
Oh, my God, dude.
This dude.
I almost ate it on the ramp. Tried to go, hey, guys, we're putting the boat in the water. But yeah, we put the boat in the water and then ran into another problem.
Yeah, for some reason, my trolling motor didn't want to respond.
Yep.
The wind's blowing my brand new boat up onto the freaking rocks.
Yeah.
It was great.
Dirt shallow Jersey ramp. And, of course, no dock.
Wow. Unnecessary.
Hell no. Just, yeah. So it was, make a long story short, it took us, we didn't get started till 8. We gave up the first hour of the tournament trying to get the trolling motor to activate. It was just, and what the fix actually was just a series of mashing buttons.
It was like a 6-year-old on Mortal Kombat. Just
I called people that I knew had that trolling motor. We Googled it. We YouTubed. We had a guy from Instagram on call me on Instagram video.
Shout out to that dude.
Yeah, IT fisherman.
And it took BTC literally just mashing every button on my pedal.
Yep, just started mashing buttons.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And it's been working great since.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I snagged the carp. That was my highlight of the day.
Yeah, so we gave it the first hour. We didn't have an opportunity to get food. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Nice day. Back off on the food bullshit, Stockel.
No,
Come on.
absolutely not.
You're the worst.
Kid. I fed him just about every meal they had this week.
True that. He's been putting me on game. We got Mas Stromboli.
Yeah, that's right, Mas Stromboli.
We got some like garlic bread dipped in honey and some kind of cheese stuff that was amazing. What was that? What is that?
It was ragut and honey. Ragut and honey. It's a regatta board with the bread. Would you feed him, Pete?
Sure. Jerky. I had a bunch of protein bars, man. Bunch of high energy food, man. Good stuff for the boat.
Man, these guys are from California, man. You can't feed them that shit. They come from good food.
Apparently not.
No, hey, the Northeast has good food though. Real talk. I trash talk on a lot of places in their food culture as I travel throughout the country and the world.
Yeah.
But this part of the country is legit, so feel good.
Yep. Fishing sucks.
Did you
food's
weigh
good.
in? Did you
Come
weigh
to
in that
Jersey.
snagged carp for the miscellaneous? In
Yeah,
your
the
tournament?
miscellaneous dreams lives on.
Yeah, no, carp are discriminated against.
Oh, hold on. You should tell them the story on our almost last-minute heroics.
Yeah, 159.
Weigh-ins at 2.
Yeah, weigh-ins at 2. On our way in, and I hook up with a 3-pounder.
And mind you, this tournament was one with 2 bass at 4 pounds.
Yeah, and we had one in the well.
Yep. What happened?
Well, got it in, but unfortunately, it was 3 pounds of carp.
The second one of the day.
Snagged in the butthole.
Could have put an 8-off hook on there and threw him back in.
Should have.
Real low threshold of
Yeah.
my entertainment levels.
He ate a tail spinner, Pete.
He ate it?
Yep, his butt ate a tail spinner.
His butt ate it.
Yep.
All right. Very nice.
What do you got for us, Rich?
Well, I got a Facebook like and share winner. We got a grand prize.
Yeah.
We got a grand prize question.
Hit that
Still
question
got-
real quick. Wait, actually, it might take a minute, but go ahead, hit that.
Okay. So, as previously mentioned
However
on
you
the
can
show,
answer.
there was a win that happened on a big swim bait thrown by none other than Byron Velvick. Now, in this tournament that Byron Velvick won on Clear Lake, he was applying scent to his bait, and I want to know what he called the technique of applying his scent to his big swim bait.
You know?
Is it kid friendly?
Yeah, it's kid friendly. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kid friendly.
Yeah. Which is a shocker knowing Byron.
Yeah. All right. Byron lubed up his swim bait. What did he call it?
That's it.
All right. That's the question. Why don't we, while we're waiting for an answer, why don't we give away the like and share? Can you do that, Rich, or is that too distracted for you?
No, we can absolutely do that. The Facebook like and share winner for tonight's Bass University Live is Tanner Hart. Congratulations, Tanner Hart. You won yourself a Defiant 210 swim bait.
Dude, look at that thing.
Congrats, man.
That is glorious.
They're all sold out at Tackle Warehouse now, just by the way.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the white ones and all the Sharpies, too. I got the Sharpies to where I can put the crappie dots on them.
Man, but that one looks beautiful.
Sold out.
Yep.
When are they going to come out with the New Jersey version, the next size down?
The 2.8.
The 2.8.
You can fish it on a ball head.
Yeah. The Trojan ribbed.
Oh, we have a winner.
So floating on
Come
the
on.
water.
We got a winner.
What's the answer?
Daniel Davis with the winner of it. I actually said it earlier in the show.
Yeah, you
Buttering the toast.
Buttering the toast.
Buttering
the toast.
If you received in the mail back in probably, I don't know, 2010 maybe, Bassmaster Winning Ways DVD is where they show him buttering the toast on the bottom of his swim bait as they're playing classical organ piano music in the background. Swim bait on Clear Lake. Congratulations, Daniel Davis.
Yeah. Daniel, you won
Congratulations.
a bunch of stuff from TH Marine. We got G-Juice. We've got that stuff that cleans your electronics. What's that called?
Wave Away.
Wave Away.
I've actually used this stuff a lot.
Yeah.
That's a great stuff.
Yep.
I use
Some
that.
Rapala DTs, Flambeau box, RTD rod threading device, couple of hats, a buff, a pterodactyl.
Congrats, man. I'll call you Butter because you're on a roll.
Yo, butter.
You were talking about buttering the toast today, Oliver.
I didn't call it that, but yeah, we talked about putting scent on a fake fish.
That's because he was hungry, Pete.
You starved him for 7 days before I got to him, Brian.
Starved me of food.
It's like an Ellie, man. It's not me.
Hope.
Confidence is shook.
Confidence. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have the biggest fishing ambitions of my life.
And you
I
came
can't
here
catch a
first.
bass.
Oh my God.
It's great.
Yep.
Shoot.
Dude, you
It's
look
all uphill,
strong on
right?
the ice.
Oh,
You look strong on the ice edge. Though.
Really stressed out.
I did get to work on my swim bait on ice techniques today.
That could
That was
Yeah.
fun in slow motion.
Sweet data.
That could come in handy.
We learned that Avexis makes an excellent icebreaker.
Oh.
Yeah. Crack that ice right up.
Yep.
Good stuff. BTC, are we ready to call this a night?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Alabama Mike Reed, it's great to have you on the show, man. It's great to see you, buddy.
Thank you. It's always good to be with you guys.
Thanks,
Absolutely. Mike. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in down the Classic. JK, Riz, BTC,
Brandon
Oliver,
Palaniuk, everybody.
Hey guys, I'm Brandon Palaniuk. Thanks for having me on. It's been amazing talking about all kinds of things I know about.
Cell phone tower installed probably late next year.
Yeah, we'll be back with you next Tuesday with some Zoom lessons and other things, and who knows what else.
Yeah, you guys straight catfished your entire audience today.
Hey, we love you guys. We're sorry. Hey, JK, Brandon offered up a day on the water to make up for tonight, so I'm leaving it up to you to take advantage of that. We want that, Brandon. But anyway, thank you guys. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you to Oliver, man. It's been a great week with
classes.
you, bro. It really has.
Thanks, man. Right back at you guys.
Thanks, Pete. Let me chuck this up here. Go ahead, Pete. Take us home.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bass University Live. Good night, everybody.
Moment on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make
Tackle Warehouse is proud to sponsor the FLW Pro Circuit and is the official tackle retailer of FLW, providing proven bass fishing gear as well as the newest and hottest tackle. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service staff can help you every step of the way. And we offer free ground shipping on orders over $50. Tackle Warehouse. Everything for the bass angler at the lowest prices. Guaranteed.
I have to be constantly on the lookout for new techniques to stay on the top of my game.
Giant.
Some have been more successful than others.
Giant.
The finesse fingernail.
Happens every time.
The chain gang.
Broke it off.
The crow's nest.
Never let go.
And don't even get me started on tackle management, especially trying to stop rust and corrosion. Peanut butter.
Not good.
Motor oil.
Gotta keep the rust off all these baits.
WD-40.
Keep the rust off.
Silica, toothpicks, Q-tips, the list goes on and on. I'm hard on tackle, I fish fast, I need my tackle organized and protected. I can't be worrying about losing baits to rust. And when it comes to tackle management, there's only one solution. Flambeau Tackle Storage Systems with Z-Rust technology. The original anti-rust tackle box. Uncompromised clarity. Renowned durability. The infused anti-rust option that is FDA safe and free of harmful chemicals. The organization options are endless, but there's only one. One box, one anti-corrosion technology, one family-owned American-made brand, Flambeau Z-Rust Tackle Solutions. Preserve, perform, repeat.